What's up? Shout out to Chris, the Candyman from Fantasy Football Garage. Great show, man. We drafted a pretty solid team, doing a little home and away action here. Been trying to work this out for a few weeks. We're both busy men. We got the Iron Thrones coming up. A lot of stuff going on. How you doing, buddy?
Brother, I'm feeling great, doing better every day, and very excited to be over here on the channel. Thanks for having me, man. Glad we could do it.
So we just drafted a pretty nice Best Ball Mania team on his stream. And guys, I know a lot of you guys were in there. Definitely go back. If you haven't, check out the stream, check out the Fantasy Football Garage, give the man a sub. And he's 3 nights a week or so. We have some overlapping time stuff, but I won't be heartbroken if you choose him a night or two over me. But hopefully we'll be together again in the future. You know, I think we had a pretty nice
100%.
Jonathan, start this thing off fire. Just got done finishing up the race car for this weekend, ready to rock. Jonathan, we are doing the draft order for the last of the community leagues. We haven't done yet the draft order, the wheel. And you're going to like your name. I do custom names and weird names for you guys, and each of the wheels spin. So I got a funny one for you if you stay tuned for the end of it, because it's going to be fun. And I'll probably be pretty drunk by that point. So this is a special show. We're not going to draft in the show. What we're going to do is talk players, talk exposures. Specifically, you guys all know who I love and who I hate and who I'm drafting, who I draft the most of. You don't know Chris the Candyman. So essentially what we're going to do here is Chris is going to expose himself.
And I don't get that. What are you doing? What is that?
Well, what I'm doing is like cutting the shower curtain in half waist high so that when he's in using it, people can see his junk.
Wow, Frank, that Ritterall is having a very interesting effect on the way you think.
Love this feeling.
Yeah. Got any more of it?
There's a bear shit in the woods.
We'll cut up a couple rails, buddy. I'm gonna blast off.
All right.
Let's blast off.
Let's blast off, baby. You ready to get into these? Me and Adam, we didn't even get halfway through his list, and we were on here for like an hour and a half. So a lot to talk about. Let's go position by position here, and we're aligned on a lot of these guys. So let's start off at quarterback, and this is Mr. Jackson Dart, your highest owned guy. This one I'm not quite on board with, but I mean, I see why. I mean, it's 4 for a passing touchdown. Like, this is the archetype of player. Giant spike weeks, health concerns for sure, for many reasons. But so why do you love Jackson Dart? Is it the stacking? Do you like taking neighbors, or is it just the archetype of quarterback and getting those fucking 8 to 10 rushing touchdowns?
Archetype. I'll try to make it real succinct, and I'm gonna go off the top of my head because I've been drafting these players all summer. I've been researching these players all summer, looking at the projections, looking at the stats, all that good stuff. But I'm just going to give it to y'all based on what I believe in my head every time I click this name, you know, and you're in that moment. I think Jackson Dart for our redraft leagues, our single quarterback leagues, is going to be the easiest guy to get. You take him in a 10 or 12 team league. He can go undrafted, right? So you take him at the end of your drafts. You have him there. You might want to be starting him. I mean, the Konami code, right? The rushing QB archetype. It's that simple. When we look at the games Jackson Dart played last season when he was the starter, off the top of my head, he was averaging, I think it was 21 fantasy points per game. And another stat is on his pace across the games he played, I think he would have averaged 125 rush attempts, you know, roughly that order of magnitude. There's never been a quarterback in fantasy football for the last, I think it's 20 plus years, that has had over 100 rushing attempts and was not a top 12 quarterback. So Jackson Dart, he's currently drafted outside of the top 12, but just go with the youth movement. Take one of these younger guys. Why bet on a pocket passer to have his career best year, which you would need to be, you know, the best quarterback if you're a pocket passer. If you're Joe Burrow, which we just drafted, you need him to have 4,000 to 5,000 yards. You need him to have 30 to 40 to 50 touchdown passes, because he's not going to get there with his legs. Jackson Dart doesn't need that. He doesn't have to be that good of a passer. He needs to be a good passer, good enough to not get benched, which he's got that, I think. And he's going to run the ball a lot. We see these rushing QBs, they have their best rushing seasons earlier in their career. Lamar Jackson, you know, one of the best rushing QBs of all time, probably the best rushing QB of all time, kind of has it all. And he's starting to rush less and less, right? The injury is the obvious concern, but go big or go home. You know, if he gets injured, then wasn't the year. But if he plays every game, I think he can be a steal.
So he had that one. It was week 16, I think. Remember the game where they just didn't let him throw the ball, and he was like 1 of 8 in the first half, and they were just like, because they didn't want him to get hurt. I was like, why are they even playing him then? And then he came out week 17 and kind of dominated again. But I believe the stat was, I think 10 of his 12 starts were inside the top 10. So because it was every game was 40 rushing yards and like a rushing touchdown every other game, plus some pretty good stuff through there without Malik Neighbors. The concern is in best ball, for instance, I love this in redraft more because you can replace them and there's always quarterbacks on the wire. So I guess but this is best ball. You're playing tournaments. You're going to win. You're not worried about the health thing, but it is concerning because it's not like the season ending stuff. It's just concussions. And it's like, if he gets 2 in a year, then now we're looking at multiple weeks. Hetzer, thank you, buddy. You sell Chris on TJ Hawkinson yet? Well, I don't know if I had to. You're going to have to wait to see his tight end exposures, and I can't wait for that one. I have a funny Jackson Dart story for you real quick.
Of course.
I'm a big player prop guy. That's all I do for the channel for my bets. And I got to pull up my record here. I do very well historically. These are all even odd bets. Last year was the best year. And I specialize in quarterback rushing yards. Like I'm like 70% of these fuckers. And Jackson Dart's first start, they had it at 42 yards. And I was like, that is really high. And I never bet unders typically, and definitely not quarterback rushing yard unders because usually they're set at like 12. And it's like, you can lose that in one play. And I'm like, I have to smash this. I have to smash this Jackson Dart under. Dude, he had 39 rushing yards in the first quarter. There was like 3 design runs. I was like, okay. And I was not bragging about the bet. I was like, I have to hit this. My heart said, don't bet it. My brain was like, this is just a high number. That's Lamar Jackson territory. And he ended up with like 64 yards, but he had it in the second quarter. And I was like, that was the dumbest bet I've ever made. And it just made sense to me. But no one realized that Jackson Dart was going to be this level because at Ole Miss, he was not running like this. I mean, I know in college, he wasn't under the pressure and he has the archetype. He's athletic. You know, he's relatively fast. He's big, but no one thought it'd be like this. This dude's an elite rusher. And he's going to do it. And Brian Dable, actually, that's kind of the upside with Cam Ward this year. It's like he actually encourages and like makes his quarterback runs. He's just like, just run. And maybe Cam Ward runs this year. Let's go on to Bryce Young, 19%. I am on board with this one. The price points, the 6.5 implied total for Vegas. And some people might be like, well, Rob, like that's not good for Bryce Young. Well, it is because they're going to have to be throwing the ball. They're going to be trailing. I love Ted McMillan. I love Jalen Coker. And as much as people like Jonathan Brooks, like this running back room is not amazing. If anything, their strengths, Jonathan Brooks is receiving. So what is this about Bryce Young? Is it all the above? And is price point's the best, right?
3 things. Number 1 is price point. His bench risk to me is very, very low for how cheap he is. Quarterbacks in the middle of best ball drafts have been priced up a little bit. Last year, quarterbacks like Matthew Stafford, Daniel Jones were practically free. Jackson Dart, undrafted, free. Shuck, undrafted, free. But Bryce Young is one of the last super cheap QBs that actually isn't Geno Smith. And that's good enough for me. So, Bryce Young, I love the way the Panthers have invested in weapons around him. T-Mac, right? They took shots on goal with Leggett. It didn't work out, but guess what? They're investing in weapons for him. So they're trying to get this guy the things he needs to succeed. The offensive line could be better, could be worse. It's not the worst offensive line in the league, not even close, right? And the run game's missing. And so, it lines up really nicely. I think Bryce Young is too cheap.
We were talking about the other night.
Last thing.
Go ahead.
I forgot the last thought. Does Jackson Dart have concussion week in, week out risk? Yes. The thing you have to know about my exposures here is I have 88% 3 QB teams drafted. So I only take 2 QB on the exception. The last draft, we actually just took 2 QB, and I was regretting doing it because Mendoza was there.
I saw that with your face.
I was like,
you were fucking like, what the fuck?
But no, I draft 3 QB in best ball almost every single draft. And so that gives me the cushion for Dart, especially.
And he's right on that threshold, right? When you take Lamar, Allen, of course, like no 3 quarterback builds. Once you get to Jackson Dart, it's like if he's your quarterback 1, regardless of the injury risk, like you should probably take 3 anyway, unless you go like Dart and Baker. That's a little light. Maybe 3 is a little heavy, but I like that thinking there. Kappa says, "Shut up, Kappa. What's going on, man?" He says, "Tell me someone that throws a prettier ball than Bryce Young." It is pretty. And to your point, Candyman, about the last of the Mohicans, essentially without the bench risk, like I still think CJ Stroud's a better real life quarterback than Bryce Young. I mean, the accolades, he's winning playoff games, but that defense is so fucking good. you know, and
Yeah.
it limits what he can do.
And they won't need much
And
from
he
him.
goes higher than Bryce Young. Why is
Yep.
Stroud going higher than Bryce Young? And let's not forget,
Also,
Bryce Young had 6 rushing touchdowns in that limited season 2 years ago. Remember he came in,
Yep.
was it week 5? And it was fluky as shit.
is
I'm
the
not
Andy
saying it was
Dalton
fluky,
stuff going
but
on?
yeah, but he had 6 rushing touchdowns in a 12-game sample. That's something. And I know it's not going to happen again, but he could have 4. If he has 4,
Also,
at that price
the
point,
Panthers were a playoff team last year. Coker had an incredible game against the Rams. So, like, the Panthers suck. Oh, they suck so bad. They were a playoff team. Like, they're not even that bad of a real football team. So, they're, you know, I think the market, it just treats them like the Panthers couldn't be good. Bryce Young can't be good. And I'm like, at this price, I'll find out.
100%. It's a floor play with the ADP makes it an upside play, if you ask me. You guys do one quarterback in weekly winners. I do if it's Josh Allen, because you're just looking for the one big week.
I drafted 3 weekly winners teams the year it came out. I haven't drafted it since. It's just not a format that I like think too much about. But I probably still wouldn't do that. I probably would still take 2 or 3 QBs.
I've done it just because it's like if Allen gets hurt, you're probably not going to hit the weekly winner anyway. Not even like winning it, but not even get like any substantial winnings. So it just allows you to go like handcuff running backs and 3 tight ends and stuff like that. So it's a strategy. I don't like it either, but this year they had that lull on Underdog where they just weren't releasing new tournaments. And yeah. I do the DraftKings Millie Maker way more than Best Ball Mania. I like the advancement. I like the 20 rounds. I like the full PPR. So it was like that or the Eliminator. I already done like 25 Eliminators. I was like, I'm done with the Eliminator. That's a wacky format as well.
I did 0 Eliminators. I did
fun.
I did 30 last year, and I tried to do 100 last year. It closed before I could do it. I was going to try to do 50 or 60 this year. It closed before I could do it. So I'm a very one-track minded kind of guy. Like right now, I'm drafting Best Ball Mania type tournaments. I will not enter a Superflex tournament. I will not enter weekly winners. I will not enter Eliminator because they're a completely different game theory than what this is. And I am hyper focused on making super teams for this specific format. If it comes out and it's the Pit Bull and it's a smaller final and easier advance rate, like that's very easy to adopt my brain around, and it's not that different. If you draft a team that could win the Pit Bull, it might get 5th or 6th or 10th or 12th in Best Ball Mania, or maybe it doesn't make it because of pod luck. But you know, it's not that different is kind of the thesis there. So I really like, I feel like I draft enough teams. I draft pretty high volume. Most people I tell how many teams I draft, they think I'm on crazy pills. And so you can see I've drafted 152 of the Best Ball Mania type teams so far. So this doesn't include like big board. This doesn't include the sprint or the marathons, which I did a few of. And there's a few other tournaments in there. But yeah, I'm pretty hyper focused on this kind of tournament.
Let's get to this comment, and then we'll get back to the list. We got to try to pound through this list. But what's up, Ryan? Shout out, Ryan, newest Patreon. Appreciate you, man. Why does it look down on to take Allen in the 3rd, but it's okay to take Bowers around 2? I don't take a lot of Bowers in best ball. I'm going to smash Bowers as much as I can in PPR redraft, and I'm fine with him at pick 20. I don't love the weird quarterback situation of guessing when Mendoza plays. So the stack is a little more difficult there. And I like taking 3 tight ends late. So I'm at like 9% of Bowers. And that's low for me for how much I love Bowers this year. But why do you think this is? And is this even the case? Because I don't know exactly. I don't like taking Allen that early. I like Allen at the 3-4 turn.
Yeah. So if Allen's the guy you need, it won't matter if you got him in the 3rd round or the 4th round. Because if he's the guy you need, you're going to want him. And I think, yes, there's obviously a difference between the players you can get in the 3rd round, because Zay Flowers in the 4th round, you're getting Lad McConkey, or you're getting, name another receiver that goes in the 4th round, T-Mac, right? But those guys, the difference between those players on a 1-week basis is pretty similar. And so if Josh Allen is the guy you have to have in week 17, which is what you're saying anytime you draft him, it's not only is the guy, like, you have to get super lucky that you pair him with, he gets you there and you pair him with another quarterback that's cheaper, because anyone else who has that quarterback who's cheaper is also going to get there, and they're not going to have spent their draft capital on Josh Allen. They're going to have Javonte Williams or Zay Flowers, right? And so if you're drafting Josh Allen, he is the guy you need to win this tournament. And so that's kind of the whole thesis. So I draft not a whole lot of Josh Allen because I feel like betting that one quarterback out of last year, we saw 59 different starting quarterbacks, and of those that were draftable, probably 32, 33 quarterbacks. So Josh Allen had odds of like less than 5% of being the guy you needed. So I don't think it's that often. Like in 1 in 20 years, Josh Allen's going to burn me. Then maybe I don't have 20% Josh Allen, right? I don't, so that's kind of big braining it. There's other ways to approach it, but Bowers, there's a different argument for his value above replacement at tight end, because I think Bowers can just honestly lap the field when he's healthy, and tight end's a bit different where it can hit your flex. Quarterback can never hit your flex.
Yes.
So that's the biggest difference there, is that you could have Bowers and Juwan Johnson. They can both be in your lineup. If you have Josh Allen and he's not in your lineup, you're losing.
That is very, very, very well said, and smart individual, this Candyman.
Check out the big brain on Brad. You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
God, TV shows and the movies I like. These are all shows and movies that I personally love. So
how old are you, by the way? I can never guess anyone's age, bro.
Well, I'm married. I've got a mortgage. I've got 2 kids, and I've already gone through a dog's entire lifetime as an adult. So I'm not young. I am.
What are you, a chick? You won't tell your fucking age? What the hell? Come on. You got a baby face.
That's because I can't grow a beard, but I'm turning 34 this year.
Oh, I'm fucking way older than you, bro. I'm 38.
That's not that older. You're like
I'm still older than you. I'm not saying I'm old. See, we're in
the same cohort. It's like, because my sibling, like my sister's your age, so like I hang out with her friends. I know the movies, I know the shows and things. So like this is very, we're millennials. But if you get a 28-year-old on stream with us, I'm not gonna know what the fuck they're talking about, because like it's just that different. It's like unless
they're a cool 28-year-old, bro.
Yeah,
I hang some people that I was cool at 28. I knew all this shit at 28 because I had older siblings, and I love the 80s, and that's where all the 80s, 90s, where all the awesome shit came from, except for HIV.
Good movies.
That wasn't
good
cool.
movies. The good movies and the good TV came from like the 2000s, right?
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the list. Daniel Jones and Mahomes. So you're not scared about the injury with Daniel Jones. I have been on record saying I think this Colts defense is trash. Like, I don't trust this defense at all, which is going to help Daniel Jones. It's not going to be like it was last year. That was a fairy tale, dude. That was unreal. Real life play, fantasy play, but you don't need him to be. It's 147 is ADP. So is it just the price point again with this, or do you think there's actually like elite ceiling here like we saw last year?
We got a taste of it last year. He was even cheaper last year, but he's still too cheap. We get the injury discount, and the Colts are a good team. They were one of the favorites in the middle of the season, right? And then they didn't make the playoffs. So I think there's a lot of good pieces from a real football perspective about that team. I think the Colts are a decent team. I think Daniel Jones is still slept on. I think it's the respect he deserves. And he does have the rushing upside. Obviously, he's coming off the Achilles, but I think he's cheap enough here where there's like zero bench risk. And I haven't heard any bad injury news. And so I'm not really that fearful about it.
Patty Mahomes. So, I mean, the bottom line is it's still Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid is there. The weapons are suspect. He's coming off the injury. I think we all would agree the rushing stuff will go down because that was just out of necessity last year. He's always had that in his bag a little bit, though.
But he saves it for the playoffs, though. He saves the rushing for the playoffs.
Right.
He really does.
Typically,
right?
Yeah. Last year he was doing it early because they were fighting for their life, which is the first time in his life they were like 500, The price point's great. I mean, it's outside the top 12. It's right there. The stacks are feasible, especially with Worthy and Kelsey. I went on a stretch, like the super flex stretch I had, where I took Mahomes in like 12 of 15 drafts or something. I just couldn't stop doing it. And then since then I'm at like 8% on Mahomes, and I feel like that's probably a little low. I want to bet on Mahomes, right? Like this is probably the cheapest you can ever get him for the next 5 years.
It's the cheapest he's ever been, the cheapest he ever will be since he won his first Super Bowl. So that's like the whole thesis. I believe in Andy Reid. I believe in Patrick Mahomes. Let me get him on a cheap year where he's going after Justin Herbert, after Trevor Lawrence. This is the first time we've ever drafted Trevor Lawrence ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Is it the last time we ever do that? I don't know. I actually believe in Liam Cohen a lot. I wish I had more Trevor Lawrence on here. He's just so damn expensive. Like there's names of quarterbacks who are not on my exposures that I wish I had more of. It's just a price thing. I'm very price conscious. In my
how you're drafting too, right? Like that's kind of the same thing it is with tight ends and shit. Like there's a point where I'm just like, I'm not taking that position in that range, or I try not to, or
yes,
things like that.
100%.
I wanted to touch on Jacoby Brissett here. 9% isn't crazy high, but he's my second most drafted quarterback. I think it's Bryce Young and Brissett. Oh, nice. And it's my 3 quarterback builds, of course, because I understand the risk that he's probably not playing in the fantasy playoffs, even though it's the greatest fantasy playoff schedule in the world. I have it written down here. It is Jets at Saints and then Raiders. That is the Cardinals fantasy playoff schedule.
It's good, but I'm going to flip to my spreadsheet. I have 2 versions of the playoffs. The first one is the defenses. And so the Jets are the 11th
they're bad.
Ranked defense, which is, I mean, that's not terrible.
They're not.
But
nope. I don't care what you're looking at. They're not the 11th ranked defense. The coach falls asleep. He's terrible.
It could be. That one's also at home for the Cardinals. Then they're on the road for the Saints, 26th ranked defense. Then they're on the road they're at home for the Raiders. That's a 25th ranked defense in the dome.
Tasty, bro.
So that's a good schedule until you consider the Cardinals' implied scores, according to the Vegas lines, has them at scoring 20 points against the Jets, 19.5 on the road against the Saints, and 20.5 at home against the Raiders, which is 10th percentile for points scored during the fantasy football playoffs. So it is one of the lowest implied point totals. So I have that's, I'm playing both sides of it. They have a good matchup based on defenses, but they are one of the lowest implied point totals for the playoffs, which kind of hurts because, we're trying to get touchdowns.
But do you believe that? Because I don't, dude. Like, everyone hates the Cardinals. They have so much skill in this offense. Now, the offensive line is trash. I'm not denying that. They were trash last year when they were putting up.
And now
points.
they got hurt. Their rookie pick got hurt.
Yeah, no shit. Second round pick.
Yeah, second round pick. But so Jacoby Brissett, I have like 19 or 20% Jacoby Brissett pre-NFL draft best ball. I'm not so afraid of Carson Beck. I'm not so afraid of Minshew. I have had more Brissett. It's been going down where I've just not felt like I need to draft him every time, but he was one of my higher QBs early on. And a stat I like to throw out there is last season, Jacoby Brissett averaged 19.6 fantasy points per game in this format. Jalen Hurts averaged 19.1. So what are we doing?
It was I actually said this in your stream once in the chat. He was in 6 for passing touchdown leagues in the 12 games he started, points per game. He was quarterback 6 or quarterback 7. I mean, that's all I'm saying is that I understand the shutdown risk or the bench risk, whatever you want to call it. But to be drafting a guy at quarterback 29 that was literally quarterback 6, it was like 6 or 7, tied for 6 or 7. That's unreal. And I know this is 4 for a passing touchdown, but he also had 160 yards and 2 rushing touchdowns last year. So, I mean, he's not a total zero on the ground. It's literally not, it's not Kirk Cousins. So it's a risky pick, but again, it's got to be in a 3 quarterback build, or if you have Josh Allen, right? Because you just want that week 7 covered, and then you might get some spike weeks. But I don't know. I feel like people are just saying he sucks. Like, I think Carson Beck sucks. I understand he looked good in a preseason game. That was also the Hall of Fame game. That doesn't even count as a preseason game. I think Carson Beck will play, but like, people are acting like Carson Beck is like the next coming. He was a 3rd round pick. He's experienced. I don't know. I'm not a Beck believer.
He's not that great. So if Jacoby Brissett doesn't play a single game after week 14, but he is decent, and not even as good as he was last year, but he's still decent, he will pay off his ADP. If he's a dead roster spot in the playoffs, guess what? A lot of the other picks in that range will be too. And so at least he's hitting your QB position. That's a high scoring position that can help you get there. If he doesn't get benched and he's playing in the fantasy playoffs, he's an incredible value.
Let's end it here. I have for the quarterbacks. I have what is the number he needs to quarterback 17, quarterback 19. Let's say he plays 13 weeks this year. What is the number to return value if you draft properly, like we are with 3 quarterback builds? What is the number he needs to where you're happy with that pick? Is it somewhere in the mid-teens? Because again, quarterback 6 last year in points per game. What does he have to do this year with 13 weeks, the first 13 weeks?
Yeah, I guess I think of it in more like, just quickly, I would say how many times he hits your lineup. Yeah. So I had this stat that I used to throw out when I was drafting last year. So from 2 years ago, we'd have to go back and look at it. But like week 1, let's say you had a team that had Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow on it. They both scored less than like 7 fantasy points in week 1 of 2024. And maybe I'm getting it wrong, but this is it's an old stat they should throw around. It's directionally accurate. It might not be the exact stat anymore. But there'd be a guy like Geno Smith or like Bryce Young that if you would have had as your QB3 that were really, really cheap, they put up like 20 points that week. So like 1 week during this cumulative scoring, weeks 1 through 14, you're telling me you can add 13 or 14 points to my roster? That's like super meaningful. That accumulates over the whole, 14 weeks.
Yeah.
But like that is meaningful enough because at the end of the day, you might be between, you advance based on 6 points, 9 points. I've had teams who don't advance by less than 1 point. So like that is like super powerful. And that's kind of why I draft a lot of 3 QB teams. But also you never know where these QB scoring points are going to come from. They sometimes come from terrible QBs who actually just have a good week and score fantasy points. And then the real good QBs have a really tough week and don't score a lot of fantasy points. So,
all right.
Your
my answer is 17, like quarterback 17 or quarterback 18. We don't want to break it up too like in depth in terms of when they score them because we're not going to know that. If he is like quarterback 17, I feel like if he just plays up until his bye,
it'd be a smash.
14, I think that doesn't help you win it, but you can't win it until you make it, and you got to make the playoffs, and that is what we're looking to do here. All right, running backs for you. You love Ramondre Stevenson. On record here, I do see Hendy down there at 11%. I have been the biggest Hendy hater ever coming out of the draft, and a lot of people came back at me hard when he took the starting job and he had those very fluky 70-yard touchdown runs where he didn't actually do anything but run fast. And they're like, you're an idiot. Traven Henderson's a league winner. I was like, well, not yet. And he's still not the starter when Stevenson's back. And lo and behold, we saw that playoffs. And this is a 50-50. They just came out and said it. This is the cheaper guy. This is the guy that's going to be playing. He doesn't have the better archetype for sure. He's not breaking long touchdowns, but goal line, passing downs, probably Stevenson. And they paid him as well. Why would they go away from him? This is a lot of money and 23%. This is big time for Stevenson for you.
Yeah, Stevenson, it's the price. He is, to me, a tier break for running backs. I like to have 3, sometimes 4 running backs when I have Stevenson. He's not my RB2 on these teams. He's my RB3 or 4. So I have really robust RB takes this year. Stevenson fits the mold. He's in one of the best offenses, right? Josh McDaniels, I want a piece of that. He's an explosive pass catcher. He can be a running back that can be in on any down. And he's good. He had a bunch of spike weeks last year. So it's the price for Ramondre. I think it's a fair price. I'm willing to pay up for it. So that's all these things. There's not a single like headwind against him except for Travion Henderson, who's an explosive back in his own and can work on limited touches and complements him in ways. But Ramondre's, as long as he's not fumbling, he's got the trust that offense. I think it's just a good offense to have a piece of at that price.
I don't think Vrabel, maybe last year because he was so busy digging into Rossini, I don't think he cares about Ramondre's fumbles. I really don't. Like, they had the runway last year with the stuff that happened in 2024 to just bench him. The draft capital for Hendy, and they didn't do it. They didn't even sit him down. Right. They just, the next series, there's Stevenson. And I remember I actually bet on Henderson that game because his number was like 41 total yards. And, the snaps were rough going into that game. I was like, he just needs 40% of the snaps. It was in a nice game script. And Stevenson fumbles in the first quarter. I'm like, dude, I won the bet. Like, I won the bet. Like, they're gonna bench him for 2 series or like give Hendy some runway. And literally the next series, here comes Stevenson trotting out in the fucking field. And I was like, all right, this says it all for Hendy. Like, they just don't trust him. And again, rookie last year, we were touted this awesome pass protector, which is just not true. He could get better for sure. But you know what? Who's not getting worse? Stevenson. So, and I think we also need to factor in, everyone's like, well, if Stevenson goes down, Henderson's a top 8 running back. I'll give you that. If Hendy goes down, what is Stevenson? A top 8 running back, and he's the cheaper guy. So I am like 9 or 10% Stevenson. Usually I like to have 2 studs, and then I'm comfortable with like Blake Corum as my 3 or Monungai, which isn't looking great now, but and then I like to go high upside guys later. But let's move on to, Jonathan Taylor. I don't think really warrants a discussion. We all love JT. Obviously, you're high on the Colts. A-Chain is one I want to talk about. 15% for you. And I love him in PPR, right? And this is a similar conversation to we talked about with Brissett. Like, I'm not saying they're going to shut H8 down. I'm not saying that they're going to limit his workload. What I'm saying is if they use him 24 touches a game, he probably will get hurt. And if he does have a lingering injury, like, they are playing for the first pick this year. Like, they're going to get it. But, H8 being on the field compared to him not being on the field, it's going to hurt their chances because he's the best player on their team and he's one of the best running backs in the league. That's kind of my concern with A-Chain. And again, it's format as well. In full PPR, like DraftKings, fuck yes. And I will take shares of A-Chain. I have him at almost the back end of the tier. I prefer Derrick Henry in this format, me personally. What is it about A-Chain that you love? Is it just being the only show in town? Because that's what he is there.
He's going to lead the team in targets, receptions, rushing attempts, total touchdowns. He led the NFL in juke rate last year. He's the most explosive running back in the NFL. If he was on the Lions, he'd be the 101. If he was on the Falcons, he'd be the 102. He's on the Dolphins, but you get him in the second round around pick 18, 19, 20. It's too much of a discount for one of the best running backs in the league who can do it all. He can catch the ball. He literally can function as a receiver. He's a little smaller, but they never stopped him before. He averaged, I think, 30 touches a game at A&M in the SEC and held up quite fine. So with A-Chan, I just want to bet on the talent, and we'll see what happens. I can't really predict so accurately, will the Dolphins be the worst team? It's like everyone says right. So.
No,
so
maybe bad exercise to do too. I get that.
And the touchdowns are also hard to figure out, but he's been on a bunch of bad Dolphins teams and scored touchdowns. So with A-Chan, it's just like talent, and the price is not too expensive. And I've always liked him, which is funny. I'm a Longhorn, and he was coming out of A&M, and that year when it was the rookie class, right? It's Gibbs, A-Chan, Bijan. I did some deep diving on those running backs. And I got fooled by the guys like the Kendre Millers. I got fooled by, certain other players in that draft class. But A-Chan was one that I quickly figured out was like a player I really wanted. So when he was a rookie, I think I had like 20% A-Chan. And ever since then, he's never been a bad pick. He's always been a good pick for fantasy. Doesn't always mean he's going to be the guy you need. But I think especially in like my redraft this year too, like if anyone's afraid of him, I'll take him where I can get him.
Yeah, he's packed on a lot of weight too. I mean, he was all of 165 at 170 as a rookie. He's probably 190 now.
They listed him at 180. I think he's playing at 190 now. It's hard to know for sure. But
I think he was in the 160s as a rookie. I mean, he's tiny and he's put on the weight. He stayed healthy.
There's no way
you mentioned that he's going to lead the team.
There's
he was.
There's
I think
no way.
so.
That's Xavier Worthy.
No, Xavier Worthy's like 150, brother. He's like you. We gotta look. Someone looked it up. Someone looked it up in the chat. Look up Devin A-Chain's listed weight in terms of the combine.
Like
Maybe it was 170.
I weigh 210.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm 6'5".
Oh shit, you're a giant.
Yeah.
Wow, you got a giant hog too. Anyways, you mentioned that A-Chain is going to be the leader in receptions, rushing total, all that stuff. Yes. I think they're not telling us everything. I think they're going to fucking put him he's going to be the water boy too. They're just going to be like, guess what? Devin, you're doing everything. Fucking water boy.
Good. Tell me everything.
Okay. They were both here. They were both inside me. Eduardo was in my mouth and Luther was in my butt.
Oh my God, no, don't tell me everything. What? No, what?
Damn it, Bonnie.
Eduardo who?
Sanchez.
Holy shit, tell us more.
Then Luther went in Eduardo's butt for a while.
Tell us less. Tell us less.
Then they both completed on each other. I was left out of the finale.
188 at the combine. All right, I don't know what I'm talking about. That's
it's wires cross. But
I feel like it was smaller than that.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Anyways, it's a great clip. Wow, I have not seen that.
He's gonna be playing in the booth. He's gonna be in the booth calling plays too. Offensive coordinator for H. He's everything.
H-N, what if they run him in the Wildcat? What if they're like, Malik's great running the ball, but bang, H-N Wildcat. The Dolphins have run a lot of Wildcat before.
That's one of the reasons I love Judkins, because they use them in the goal line in the Wildcat. That's valuable shit. Like you can get a free passing touchdown. Let's move on to Travis Etienne. And this is an interesting one as well, just based on cost, because you remember right after the big board and right after the NFL draft, Etienne was almost a 2-3 turn pick. He was like 33. Or like 30, 33, 28 sometimes. Now he fell to 42. And I have it can't be Tyson. Why did he fall 15,
Kamara.
13, 15 spot? But this was happening before the signing of Kamara. We all knew Kamara. By the way, Kamara got hurt today. We all knew that Kamara was going to go there. We all knew that. So that was not worth a 12 pick.
There was whispers that Kamara would retire. There's whispers that they'd let him go somewhere else. So it's never baked in, right? The market always double counts, always overreacts. I have followed Kamara extremely close. He's one of my favorite all-time fantasy players. So I know when to call it quits. I know when to throw in the towel. I threw in the towel on Kamara week 3 or 4 last season, and I've never looked back. So I've drafted Kamara more than 0 times this season, but every time I do it, I regret it because he will not be a player we're drafting next year, just like we're not drafting Austin Eckler this year, and we didn't draft Zeke last year. Kamara's time is gone, right? He's done. So he's not relevant for fantasy football. He's a great pass catcher. Not anymore. He's nothing anymore. He's not draftable. I've got some of them. I wish I had less, but that makes me come over to Travis Etienne Jr., and I've got a bunch because if he's going to get 15 touches a game, it's not going to pay off. If he's getting 20 touches a game, he's going to pay off.
We still call him ETN here. I'm not changing. He could try to change his name all he want. Like, he's ETN. But I do appreciate you being politically correct and actually hitting the name there. I don't like pronouncing.
I try. It's hard.
I'll give you the Kamara thing was maybe worth a 3-pick dip. That's fine. But like, even if you thought Kamara wasn't dusty, like a full round dip for ETN, like Kamara's not taking goal line work. Taysom Hill's gone. We like this offense. They're going to run a fuckload of plays with Kellen Moore. Like I was off ETN early at that price. I was never, and like Vegas is telling you, really low props, $7.99 and 4.5 rushing touchdowns. But most of his value is in the passing, so we should smash those overs. But I didn't like it at 33. I love it at 44. Like, just especially with a Tyson injury now, like this needs to be a smash. McCullough has a good comment here. Last running back to finish top 10 on a bottom 3 team in football was Steven Jackson. So bottom 5 teams, there's been a lot of those, like the 4th, 5th, 6th, but bottom 3 is really bottom of the barrel. And that is interesting. In PPR though, especially in PPR, it's definitely more feasible because you could look at what Genti did last year with the receptions and A-Chain's that level of player that doesn't need goal line carries necessarily to score touchdowns. It's the explosive
I have
plays.
to look. I think Achan's potentially on a better pace. I'd have to look because I know Steven Jackson was so good. It'd be close. I'd want to see who's on a better career trajectory, Achan or Steven Jackson. I think it's actually pretty close.
I guarantee efficiency-wise, it's A-Chain. Like it has to not.
Steven
Jackson scored a lot of touchdowns.
He had way more volume. I
miss Steven Jackson. I love that dude. Man. Yeah. His hair looking like the Predator. All right. Josh Jacobs, 14%. We'll pick up this and then we'll get to wide receivers. And I can't wait to get the tight ends for many reasons. Josh Jacobs, last running back we're going to talk about. How concerned are you with now? There's a groin injury. Give me first off, what is the suspension risk here?
0.
You think it's really 0 this year because it might be next year, right?
No, there's legal troubles are imaginary. They don't exist. There's no legal trouble for any NFL player until it happens, and then but they don't actually exist until it happens. So until it happens, it doesn't exist.
All right, I like that. Are you concerned about last year the production was down, and we saw Emmanuel Wilson in one start have a 100-yard rushing game. We didn't see one from Josh Jacobs, but we did see 14 and 15 touchdowns, I believe, in the 2 years of Green Bay, and all they did is take away receivers from this team. So, and there's no Micah Parsons, so they're going to be playing in a little more, maybe not more up tempo, but they're going to have to score points, and they're going to be running Josh Jacobs in the goal line, especially. So, is that what this is? Price point, because he should be a 3rd round pick in reality.
He should be a 2nd or a 3rd round pick. He touched the ball 18 times per game last season. That is one of the best. He also had 14 touchdowns last year. That's one of the best. So he's up there. He was pretty reliant on his touchdowns to get there, but I've got a lot of faith in the Packers offense and Matt LaFleur calling plays. And I don't think there's a single running back behind Josh Jacobs that really scares me and keeps me up at night. So their offense goes through him. He's kind of their whole offense. I mean, Love hasn't had this huge passing volume that we thought we were promised after his first season as a full-time starter. The receivers are fine. I mean, they're efficient. They're not like target hogs. This is the engine of the offense. It's Josh Jacobs. And the playoff schedule is pretty tough, so that scares me a little bit more than anything, I would say. But I think he's just too cheap. Josh Jacobs, you could almost make a case that he should be like a 2-3 turn pick. And I guess it's the legal stuff. Now it's the groin, which is kind of concerning because I hate drafting injured players too, except for QBs, obviously. But so, yeah, I think he's just good. He's still good. He's still young enough. He's still the main component of his offense.
And if people are going to tell us Marshawn Lloyd is a worry, like maybe if he's healthy, but we just never seen it. And like if you're going to project, like again, we're not in the game of predicting injuries, but like I'm saying, if you're going to guess an injury for a player, like Ricky Pearsall, sorry Dakota, Jordan Tyson, and then dude, it's a guy that's never played before. Like Jonathan Brooks was ACLs. How many different injuries has Marshawn Lloyd had? And he's never actually been on the field. That's why, like practice injuries. Cutting his grass.
J.K. Dobbins.
It's fucking insane.
J.K. Dobbins is the injury man. Him and Lloyd are like when I think injury, I go to Dobbins, I go to Lloyd. Like you said.
But Dobbins has had major injuries. The Achilles, like there's never really been a major one for Marshawn. It's the weirdest thing ever. Last thing on running back real quick. Give me your Bucky Irving take. You have 13%. Are you just discounting this? And I like Bucky at the price point now that he's been falling. So like late 5th round. Love that. Is it Sean Tucker not being a factor? Is that because Kenneth Gainwell is going to have the Rachaad White role plus, and that doesn't matter for Bucky if there's no Sean Tucker, like Sean Tucker not stealing every goal line touch or even half of them. Is that what it is? Because Bucky had 0 goal line carries last year, and that was insane.
So I will draft Kenneth Gainwell. I like what we saw from him a lot last year, and so I'm in on Gainwell. I'm in on Bucky. I'll occasionally draft as well. I'll draft all of the Bucs running backs with Bucky, and it comes for all of them that it's a consensus top 3 offensive line, and so I think there's going to be opportunities. Bucky's just been really, really good at for fantasy when he's healthy. He gets a lot of touches. He puts up a lot of points. Has a lot of big games. He can catch the ball. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Gainwell does. Second year coming off of a huge year last year where he got a lot of check down passes from Aaron Rodgers. How is that going to change with Baker Mayfield? I think Kenneth Gainwell had more receptions than Khalil Shakir last season. So like,
it was 79. I think it was up to 70s.
79.
It wasn't even the reception
74.
totals. It was the yards per route run. I know this is tied to Aaron Rodgers being an all-time check down merchant this stage and being smart about it. But it was, dude, he was up there with like Puka Nacua for yards per route run. What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Gainwell's damn good, dude.
He's good, and he's an explosive runner too. And so I like them both. I'm surprised. My Gainwell was super high on pre-NFL draft. I think, maybe I'm a little bit lopsided Bucky here and could even out with more Gainwell, but I just want Buccaneers running backs.
Yeah, and the upside shot, I mean, it's not going to be what it was his rookie year because Liam Cohen's gone, and that was a big part of it. But it's going to be somewhere in the middle. You know, it's like running back 21, like he can kind of bust, and with the talent level and with this offense, like running back 16 is very feasible, and that's money. Yeah. We're making money there. All right, let's a couple comments here. Fantasy Dog, I like this format. I like it too, man. I like to just actually truly host some of these shows, and you guys know my takes. You hear it 4 hours a fucking night. Let's get some other sharp individuals on and give Chris Candyman some props for just knowing ball. I know he's definitely a great best ball bro. Can't wait to see his redraft chops in the Thrones League. Can't wait. Hartman, Dobbins is unlucky. Lloyd has systematic body issues. That is a great way to put it. Dobbins, and again, the Achilles started it all. I don't think Dobbins was hurt at all at Ohio State. You know, he was a healthy dude coming out. I'm going to move over to tight ends here first, and then we'll see how many wide receivers we can pound through because I got to talk about my boy. Second guy on your exposure list. Everyone mocks me, Candyman. They say, Rob, you're an idiot. Hawkinson's dust. He's terrible. He's old. I'm like, actually, he's 29. Kyler Murray sucks. Actually, Kyler Murray's been pretty great his whole career for fantasy, especially for the tight end position. And I'm like, okay, tight end 24 for TJ Hawkinson. You know what? I do have a graphic for this, and this is just what I want to do my entire life is just hang with Hawkinson, baby. We're not as high as I am because at one point, this is no, not shitting you. At one point, I was 41% on Hawkinson, which is it was through like 100. Yes, it was through 190 or 200 drafts. I'm now down to about 30%. So I've weaned myself off the Hawk train a little bit. It's the perfect tight end 3. And a lot of people say there's no upside. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Zach Ertz dominated with Jaden Daniels 2 years ago. Zach Ertz was way dustier than Hawkinson is right now, at least age-wise, right? And 2 years removed from this major injury. I mean, I've been through it a million times. Why are you about Hawkinson? Because this is high. Nobody in the industry likes Hawkinson. Everyone forgot about him. Tight end 5 last year, by the way. Remember, he went tight end 5 in drafts. And when this is the money, this is how you make money. When you everyone's out on this guy. Everyone thinks he sucks. They forgot about him. And that's what it is for me. It's like he can suck this year and they can still suck this year and he'll be tight end 19 and you're still making money.
Yeah, with Hawkinson, I just think he's a cheap tight end, and I like to throw in a lot of tight ends in that range. And I draft a lot of 3 tight ends, and he's usually there. And if it's between taking Hawkinson or like a Freiermuth or Schultz, who I have a decent amount of, but because I take late guys, and all in that range, I have a lot of Kate Otten too. I have a lot of these late guys, but I don't really see the problem with Hawkinson so much. People I feel like, yeah, you're right. No one's in on him, but he's not that far removed from being one of our top tight ends we draft. The looking back, I'm scrolling through his game logs right now. Last season wasn't the most impressive, but that's because look what Justin McCarthy. Jefferson did last year, right?
Yep.
So let's forgive last year. Let's go back to 2024. He had a game with 7 receptions, 114 yards in week 12. So he is still a guy that can put up a 100-yard game.
He had 0 touchdowns coming off that injury, right? He came back week 9, was it? And it was a good year, like PPR wise. It was like he was averaging like 4.5 receptions and like 55 yards. And there was just no touchdowns. And then last year, he didn't look great. I'm acknowledge that. But 2 years removed from the injury, everyone said that about Javonte Williams last year. He's dust. I was like, give him an extra year. I made a lot of money on Javonte last year. I know different position, like running, like carries are given, targets are earned. That's a fact. Not with Kyler Murray though. Their targets for tight end are kind of given because he can't see the field. And I feel like this is just a smash, man. And what is your ultimate upside? Give me your upside. If everything goes well, if Kyler clicks with Kevin O'Connell, he is back, he's motivated, and Hawkinson is he's never going to be back to what he was pre-injury. Let's acknowledge that. 29 years old though. What do you think the upside is in let's call this PPR, because I want to talk PPR because that's where his real value is. His ultimate upside if he's healthy and this offense clicks.
I think Kyler can support a number 2 passing option, which is most likely Addison, but Addison can get it done with efficiency and touchdowns, not the volume necessarily of receptions. So I think, and I'd have to double check like my projections, but what the bull case would be for Hawkinson and PPR, I think I have to double check. I mean, he's a guy that can get 65, 70 receptions. And what is that? 600, 700 plus yards, throw in 4 or 5 touchdowns. Like that's huge payoff at this price. It's kind of what you get out of Juwan Johnson, who goes a little bit higher and has been doing that for a while. But so one thing I also want, and I don't know where your exposure is on this player, and I'm sorry for anyone out there who likes this player, but how come Chig Okonkwo goes higher than TJ Hawkinson? Chig Okonkwo never had a 100-yard reception game, never scores touchdowns, never does anything, never good at fantasy, never was, never will be. He goes ahead of TJ Hawkinson. I don't understand that at all. It
was before the Diggs signing. He was the number 2, which was never going to happen. He had the runway last year. Granted, it was a bad situation, and Gunnar Helm ate into it a little bit, which is also a concern because Gunnar Helm was like a 5th-round pick out of Texas. And Chig Okonkwo has splashy play. With the ball in his hands, he's an elite playmaker. He's like 6'2", though. So it's tied to Jaden Daniels, and people believe in Jaden more than Kyler, and I get that. But
I don't know if I've ever seen one elite play from Chig Okonkwo outside of what
week
was
15 last year, week 16, 17, the last week, where he had that nice tightrope and he pirouetted, and it was like a 50-yard touchdown.
He had 1 touchdown last season, didn't he?
Yeah, that was the one. It was week 18 actually. It was after the fantasy football playoffs.
Yeah, it was week 18.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough.
I remember the first year Chig Okonkwo existed, and people picked him up off waivers, and people, especially like guys I know in Dynasty, became obsessed with him. And he's one of those guys that is bigger in name than he ever has been for anything production-wise. I would never draft Chig Okonkwo over Dalton Schultz, Hawkinson, even Barner. I think Chig Okonkwo is a worse pick than Mike Gesicki. I think.
Whoa, that's some fire. You know what it is though? He's
had a 3 touchdown.
He's Jonnu Smith. He's Jonnu Smith. Yes. And if you take away the weird Tua Jonnu Smith year where Tua was just literally like drop back 2 steps and throw the ball to Jonnu Smith. They're the same archetype of player though, right? Like that. If you take away that from Jonnu Smith though, he's been pretty bad in his career as well. And Jonnu Smith's a little bit bigger, a little thicker, and probably a little faster.
So, and Johnny's a free agent. If he goes, if Jonnu lands in Washington tomorrow, is Chig Okonkwo draftable?
No, he would still be the starter, but it would just eat in. It would just make it mucky as hell, right? I mean, Ben Sinnett's still there. I love Ben Sinnett, but
Yeah, him too. We used to draft him. One thing also you were talking about, like he was the assumed number 2 receiver for the Commanders. I have this thing that I like very strongly believe in. It's like a conviction I have around fantasy that I've learned over the years. I will never assume that a pass catcher is anything in an offense until they've proven it. So like I think targets are earned. I think receptions is skill. And so if you are, let's throw out a name, Jalen Naylor, right? You are not the number 2 in the Las Vegas offense. He's the most overdrafted, worst pick on the board, worst player, never been anything, never will be anything, is a total nothing. He's a remember that guy. We're never going to draft him in fantasy ever again. He's never been drafted before. I've owned him in Dynasty every year of his career. And he's a terrible pick. He's impossible to start and redraft. He's the worst pick on the board, not only in best ball, but in redraft. He's okay in best ball if you get him in round 18, because maybe he scores 1 touchdown or 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe he's had a decent kind of touchdown luck in his career. He's not like the worst player ever, but the price is terrible. He's overdrafted. He's never going to be a guy you need. He's never going to be a target earner, a volume earner. He can't catch balls. He sucks at catching balls. He's one of the worst catch rates of any receiver. So all of that to say, I would never assume that he'd be anything in that offense. I thought that he was the most fragile, just like Chig, the most fragile position where anyone comes in, he's immediately not important. So like Diggs comes in, Chig's knocked down a peg. But like I never assumed that he would have earned that in the first place. Anyone could have come in and knocked him down a peg. And even if someone didn't come in, there's also a chance he just sucks and it's just a split up target share pie and no one gets a good enough piece that matters. But
I love this guy. I love this guy. You know what? Fuck it. This is great. We could literally sit here and talk about all night, and we just met. I love this guy, and I love how you just. I do the same thing sometimes. You go down these wormholes. We're talking about Chicken Conco tight ends, and then somehow you just go low blow on Jalen Naylor. And there's a faction of Jalen Naylor fans out there. They're gonna want to fight you, bro. They're gonna
fuck.
Go buy some sandals. Hey, go buy some sandals.
You want to fight? I'll fight you. Fight. I haven't fought in 10 years. I'll fight you guys. What you got? Let's see. Throw down, bitch. Throw down, bitch.
I just want to defend Jalen Naylor real quick, and I'm not a big fan. In best ball, it's kind of a worthless pick. I phrase it like this. I want Trey Tucker in best ball because he's going to have 2 or 17, probably 2, 3, 2, 4, 18, right? Jalen Naylor's going to have a lot of 7-point games.
He put up 40 last year.
Stuff like that. In a deep PPR like the Thrones League, I'm actually more comfortable starting Jalen Naylor because I want something. But this is best ball, right? Like Jalen Naylor is going to have a higher floor than Trey Tucker, brother. He is. It's just like, what does 4 for 40 do for you? Really, it gets you 8 points. Doesn't do anything in best ball for you.
In a redraft league, he is a low floor guy, and you're only trying to beat a league of certain amount of people. So I could see that. My most of my hatred for Jalen Naylor is he's 100% drafted. He has never been undrafted in a single draft this year. Bro, that is the worst leverage on the field I can imagine. You want a low-owned piece that has a low odd of spiking and being the guy you need. Like, that's the whole thesis. There's a low chance they spike. That's why they're low-owned. Jalen Naylor has an extremely low chance that he spikes or is ever relevant, but he's 100% owned. He's the definition of the worst pick in best ball.
I think it's the money. People are following the contract, which it can be smart sometimes. In this case, probably not.
Never works.
Because Genty and
never
Bowers.
Works to follow the money in fantasy football. Every year we've ever followed the money. It's the players who get paid that are good, that stay on the same team. That makes sense. When you change teams and get paid, almost never works. It's like I have to think back, and there's examples on both sides. But I think Michael Mayer has more receptions than Jalen Naylor in 2026. I think Jack Besh could have more receptions. I think this new guy, what's his name? It's like Malik
Dante Thornton.
Benson.
Don't say that. Malik Benson.
No.
Yeah.
No, Dante Thornton Dante Thornton is worse than Jalen
Dante
Naylor,
Thornton's the worst. He's a Tennessee receiver. That's awful. I don't know if you know who the counselor is, the biggest clown in the industry, the fantasy football counselor. He had Dante Thornton on a show, and his hot take, not even a hot take, he had videos. He said he's going to outscore Brock Bowers. He's the number one. It just insane stuff. Dante Thornton's terrible. Hey, you got like 10 minutes left to rock through a couple more names. I know you got to get off, but let's just talk about AJ Barner real quick. Your highest owned tight ends. The tush push is possible here, which is nice. There's a faction of guys that like Elijah. Yeah, Elijah Arroyo, though. I'm not too worried about him this year. If anything, they split him out wide. That's what you saw in the playoffs. But AJ Barner is like 24 years old. Like he's a Pat Freiermuth, a bigger Pat Freiermuth. He's a old steady. It's the price point, and it's not really having a true number 2 there. As much as we love, Shaheed and Horton, those guys are going to be big boom guys, but not really target like hogs. And Barner's just a nice little security blanket for Sam Darnold.
I think the connection with Sam Darnold is what keeps me there, even though we have a new offense, right? They bring in Brian Fleury. He's a first-time offensive coordinator, play caller. And what's he going to do? Well, he was the tight end coach for the 49ers. George Kittle, right? A guy who thrives on getting open and a play action pass in the 49ers. So if we see a little bit more of that with Barner, I think it can sustain what we've gotten out of him last year, which was a nice surprise. He's just cheap enough where I'm willing to bet on that upside that it could stay steady or get better. And like we saw in the Super Bowl, he play action pass in the red zone. He gets open on a nice little route, touchdown. So Barner to me is just cheap enough and a fun enough piece. And, try to go for a guy that the offense seems to like, the quarterback seems to like. And Darnold, it's not bad having a piece attached to Darnold for the low ceiling that he has, because he's just a pure pocket passer. You could own a bunch of his pieces. We talked about Torrey Horton. Right. We've talked about even Shaheed being fun, and
just not Cooper Kupp. He's not fun. We don't want to own him.
Yeah. And he's not as fun. No. Cooper Kupp's going to absorb some of those receptions and targets that we wish he didn't, but he probably won't get the extra touchdowns that maybe they fall to Barner.
The upside of Barner, too, is I know I mentioned Elijah Arroyo. Mike McDonald's like the most conservative head coach ever when all around, right? Kicking, he always opts to kick it. He wants to go with veterans. This is why Cooper Kupp was on the field last year. And AJ Barner is not a veteran, but compared to Arroyo, he's not as raw. And why would he really pull this guy off the field for a what if in Arroyo? So I think that is just, he's trusted part of this offense. Maybe the ceiling won't be there, but again, tush push, baby. That could be a free touchdown or 2. That's free stuff. Let's chat about some wide receivers real quick. And Stephon Diggs.
I forgot we hadn't even got to wide receivers yet. The last thing I'll say about tight ends is I want to get more elite tight ends in my exposures. Now that it is August, I'm ready to do it. So I'm going to be drafting aggressively Bowers, McBride, Loveland, Warren, and Kraft. Those are the 5. I also throw in Fannin and Pitts as kind of my next tier if I miss on all of those guys. But those are the top 5 tight ends for me that I don't think any of them are on this list right now. They're all kind of right below there in the 8 and 7% range. But I'm going to try to get all of them to about 11 to 12% before this thing's over. So that's I've been killing it with late tight end. I'm about to flip to some elite tight end builds.
All right, so this Stephon Diggs thing, I'm guessing it was majority, just like myself, way before the signing when he was going 140, right?
26% pre-signing. I think I've drafted him once since.
Yeah, why would you? No point. Especially if you're playing similar in the same tournament.
If he's good, then he still pays off. I mean, last year he was good. Last year, and the reason I was drafting Stephon Diggs with so much conviction, even though he wasn't on a team, and it's a different year, and he's not on the Patriots anymore. But last year, across the entire season, he was wide receiver 16 in terms of touches or just simply receptions per game at 5.1. So he's still a top 20 receiver, I think, this year in receptions per game. He's there with Terry McLaurin, but Jaden Daniels, can we get a good season out of him? I would love to see it.
It's just health with him. If he's healthy, and again, the Commanders are a mess, but if he's healthy, at least on his end, he'll produce because the rushing stuff. But we saw his production. Yes, the rushing yards are great. Yeah. But
losing Tunsil,
we talk about Drake. It does. We talk about Drake May's deep efficiency last year. Jaden Daniels is actually just as good in 2024 with deep ball stuff. And that's going to open up the field for Diggs, though.
And McLaurin can get downfield and catch some of those, and Diggs will be the underneath guy that kind of, I think, was Ertz when the last time we saw Ertz have that great season 2 years ago, right?
Yeah, so I get the Diggs thing for sure. Again, I don't love the price point now. I think it's pretty fair. Omar Cooper, are you buying into him not being the third receiver now? I have not been taking. I'm at like 1% Omar Cooper. I'm gonna start taking him now though, because now I can get him in the 17th round. I like the player. It's just concerning that he's a pro-ready player. That's what he was sold to be. And now I don't know if I believe this, but Sadiq's injury should help him. Early season stuff. I like Omar Cooper. I had him as my 5th or 6th receiver coming out of this class, so I was pretty much on par. But you're not worried at all?
I'm starting to feel some concern. I won't lie. But let me tell you my thesis on Omar Cooper, right? So Omar Cooper, he's a first-round rookie wide receiver, and you can get him for free in drafts right now. He was somewhat expensive. I had him ranked at 135, and so I drafted him in 20%, 23% of my drafts for a while. He's fallen. I don't believe in A.D. Mitchell, so I'm a Longhorn. I watched every snap A.D. Mitchell played at Texas, right? I saw him come from Georgia. I heard the rumors. This guy caught a touchdown in every single college football playoff game he ever played in. This guy's incredible. I've seen it, right? He comes in the NFL. He's a nobody. He's a bonehead. He's a knucklehead.
He is a knucklehead. He
gets kicked off the Colts. They ditch him, right? Okay. And so my thesis on Cooper is, it's not A.D. Mitchell that you want. A.D. Mitchell is probably the second worst wide receiver pick in Best Ball Mania right now. He's never going to be good. He's not good.
Nope.
And it's Omar Cooper, who's a first-round pick. And so what I want to show you...
Well, hold on. He hasn't been good yet. He hasn't been good. Dude,
good.
He earns targets. He just drops
No, he doesn't.
them.
Yes, you're right. No, you're right. He earns 3.9 targets per game in his career, and he catches 1.7 of them. He has one of the worst catch rates. He averages 23 receiving yards per game, and he has a touchdown in 0.1 of his career games in 33 games.
He's been bad. He's young play. He's a young player, dude.
All right.
I mean, we're going to definitely disagree on this one. I'm fine with taking Omar Cooper now where his price is.
So you like Alec Pierce, right?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Alec Pierce, through the same exact point in his career, had twice of everything that I just mentioned that A.D. Mitchell has. I get it. Twice as many touchdowns, twice as many receptions, twice as many everything.
You know what he does, though? You know what he does? He gets fucking open. He is an elite separator. He is elite metrics. The dude's a fucking beast. He just between the head, right? Between the ears. It's bad. It's bad for him. It's been bad. Not just the dropping the ball before the end zone and the fucking holding penalty. I get all that. That's why he got, also dumb move by the Colts. You know who they could really use right now? Adonai Mitchell, right? That archetype of receiver. All right.
No, he doesn't score touchdowns.
So Adonai Mitchell and Jalen Naylor, you just want to fucking murder.
No, they're bad prices because
173 for Adonai Mitchell, though. That's way later than Cooper.
Well, he's 100% draft. He's never gone undrafted, and he's not good. He doesn't score touchdowns.
He is good.
He doesn't have spike weeks. He doesn't hit your lineup. He won't be good.
I love him. I love him.
It'd be a year 3 breakout in one of the better wide receiver classes. Tell me why you wouldn't take Keon Coleman, who's drafted maybe 20% of the time. When Keon Coleman, I draft Keon Coleman. He's hurt right now. Keon Coleman is better in every single metric that you could possibly look at early in their career compared to A.D. Mitchell. He plays on a better team. He has, and I'm scrolling past it, but A.D. Mitchell has 2 career touchdowns. Keon Coleman has 8, and they've played the same exact kind of. Keon Coleman's played 7 less games. Keon Coleman actually catches the ball a lot higher rate than
he's also never open.
More targets.
Never. He can't separate with shit. But he's got Josh Allen. That works.
He's got Josh Allen, and he leads the Bills over the last 2 seasons across all pass catchers and touchdowns. That's Keon Coleman.
Well, you're never going to convince me Adonai Mitchell's bad. That's fine. We're going to see. I just think he's going to play a lot of snaps. Oh, I've watched him. He's going to play a lot of snaps, and at least to start the year, he is the number 2 there. I'm sorry. It's going to happen. I know you're going to hate it, but Geno Smith is an aggressive passer.
He is.
It's the best ball guy. No, he is.
He's terrible, and they're going to put in Omar Cooper because he's their first-round draft
Omar Cooper's a slot, though, dude. Omar Cooper's not playing outside. They want to move Garrett Wilson around this year. We're going to see. This is why I love this conversation. We agree on a lot, though, actually. And you know what? It's like when we disagree, I'm like, what the fuck? Last name I want to talk to you because I got to get you out of here.
I
don't want
to
to
keep it too
Mitchell. That's fine. I'm gonna hit you up week 3 when he's like wide receiver 32, and it's a small sample, but I'm gonna send you a selfie with my dick out. Marvin Harrison. That
tracks.
Here's one we agree on. I am higher actually. I have like 26% Marv, bro, and I've actually ticked down its price point, its touchdowns, 12 touchdowns in 26 career games, and he's been downright awful. Not even if he was a second round pick, he would have been pretty bad in the NFL. But he's 23 years old, dude. I'm a Michael Wilson guy. I had Michael Wilson everywhere last year. I had him at best ball. I've always been a Michael Wilson guy. And I think Michael Wilson's probably still a better player right now. But Michael Wilson is just kind of what he is, a hardworking dude, very, very good receiver, very technical. But Marvin Harrison still has that juice, dude. He'll never live up to the 3rd overall. Never. He's got to be Julio Jones to fucking meet that shit with the pedigree and the name. But
it's tough.
Marvin Harrison was out targeting Michael Wilson before he got hurt. And people fail to acknowledge that. So why do you you're pretty high on Marvin Harrison. Most people have written the guy off. Not me. And I don't think you have either.
He's really good and he catches a lot of touchdowns. And it's the cheapest we've been able to draft him since his rookie, who's expensive, right? Last year's expensive. We're going to get a year 3 true stud breakout out of Marvin Harrison. If he's healthy the whole season, he's going to pay off this price. He scores a ton of touchdowns. This guy is a touchdown machine. And we're going to see more of that. He's got 12 touchdowns in his first 2 seasons. He only played 26 games. So at that pace, he's going to be averaging 7 touchdowns a year for his career. And some of those years are going to be peaks that are going to be, who knows, could he have 14 touchdowns? I don't think it's crazy.
They've also used him and he's not the most versatile guy in the world, but they've used him. If I give him a percentile of the efficiency they've used him in, it's 1%. It's literally static as shit, never in motion, always against the number 1 corner. They never try to get him in mismatches. He's a monster. And I'd like to think they're going to do that this year. There's no guarantees there. I promise you it'll be better than it has been. But this is just the time. And I put his range of outcomes. I feel like worst case scenario, he's going wide receiver 34. He's not going to get benched because they have no one to bench him for. And he's still a fine player.
He would never get benched. He's Marvin Harrison.
That's the point.
He's Marvin Harrison.
Wide receiver 38 or wide receiver 40 is his absolute floor. If shit falls apart, if he's even worse and he starts pouting, all the variables we can throw in there, that's 6 spots below you're drafting him. His upside is top 12, bro. It's top 12.
So, and I look a lot for year 3 breakouts. And so I've got if you mention that's why I can go pretty hard on AD Mitchell. He's a year 3 player. He's in one of the best wide receiver draft classes. I can go pretty hard against Xavier Worthy. So Ladd McConkey is right in a 3rd round pick, essentially 4th round pick for me if I get him. But what's the difference between, and from a fantasy perspective, what Ladd McConkey's doing and what Marvin Harrison's doing? It is razor thin. There's not much of a difference. It's really pretty close actually. And Ladd has kind of been, he had a bigger first year and then last year was somewhat underwhelming, but you could argue better offense. But to me, Ladd going where he goes, give me Marvin Harrison where he goes. It's a price thing. And I could be convinced to take Marvin Harrison over Ladd McConkey straight up. It's not that crazy.
Okay. Well, hell yeah, bro. Because like I said, I have a higher exposure than you. And I try to avoid the news and all the bullshit. The clips were concerning, the drops. But again, I think this is a guy people want to hate, right? Because all the hype.
They want to hate him because he started at the top and now you're going to kick him until he goes further down. And then you realize you kicked him too far. And actually, no, he actually is still good. The other guy I'm going to say, so Ladd McConkey would be, wow, you really can compare those 2 players. It's it's pretty easy, actually. They're in the exact same wide receiver class. Rome Odunze. Marvin Harrison is way better than Rome Odunze, and Rome Odunze goes higher. Rome Odunze's on the Bears. Rome Odunze is, I think, in terms of catch rate, which matters when your job is to catch a ball, I think he is the 2nd or 3rd worst receiver in the entire NFL.
That's partially due to Caleb being erratic, but I still think Rome right now is a better player than Marvin. And apparently you're higher on Marvin in real life than I am, and I am pretty high on him. The biggest parallel I draw, and this is a really good one because Aaron Rodgers was involved, Devontae Adams was actually way worse the first 2 years than Marvin Harrison was. Granted, he was a 2nd round pick, But like, it wasn't even the numbers. Like, remember the optics? Remember the false starts, the fucking drop passes?
I remember everything about that.
Like, talk about knucklehead
whole
shit.
career start to finish, and it's not finished yet.
Hall of
and
Fame
look where we're at
player,
now.
bro.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
and I think this is a 10% outcome, but we
We
don't even need this to be even in the discussion. Like, where we're talking about ADP, this is why we're talking about Devontae Adams. But like, the pedigree is, people are drafting Carnell Tate now. Marvin Harrison is such a better prospect than Carnell Tate. It's not even a debate, not even close. He's bigger, he's stronger, better production, better film.
I'll go on a limb. I will personally guarantee, and I'd put money where my mouth is. I guarantee Marvin Harrison outscores Ramadunze straight up, and I think there's a really good chance he outscores Ladd McConkey straight up.
All right. Well, you know what? That's all I needed to hear because there's a faction. There's more people about Marvin Harrison than TJ Hawkinson. I get that.
They
But
hate Marvin
it's a
Harrison and
polarizing
they
player.
love Ramadunze. And I watched Ramadunze in college. I seen him play in person. He's incredible, but he's not playing with Michael Penix anymore. And all of a sudden he didn't have a good deep passer. He's not getting those balls connect. We've heard Ben Johnson say, we want to extend drives. We want Caleb to be more accurate. We're not letting Caleb get off the practice field until he hits 80% completion accuracy. You're going to get 80% completions throwing deep balls to Ramadunze that he's not catching. He has the lowest catch rate of any wide receiver you can name. Or are you going to throw to Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, who have the highest catch rates of any players you can name on the board, essentially, and have the most design plays, the most like first read targets, the most scheme plays? That's where it's going to go. The future is Loveland and Burden. They tried it with Ramadunze. They're not going to re-sign him to a second contract.
I am not quite there with Ramadunze, and again, I'm not a Bears homer at all. But the Marv thing, well, let's wrap it up here. Let's finish the Marvin conversation. I got to get you out of here. But I want to tie this into Brian Thomas. That is the more comparable thing than Ramadunze, because Brian Thomas goes back-to-back with him. He has now overtaken him. I know Brian Thomas is good, and I think that Marvin Harrison is good, right? I know I've seen NFL film. Like, Marvin had 8 touchdowns as a rookie, but the film, it was inconsistent, the drops, some of the attitude stuff. It's not like he's a problem, but it's just kind of lazy stuff that I hate to see. I don't know if he has that in him and where he just hated Kyler. I think a lot of it was hating Kyler and the coaching staff. But we have seen Brian Thomas. I understand he was the only show in town, and it was not with Trevor Lawrence. We've seen him be like an elite top 10 talent in the league, just based on size, speed. It wasn't even just the deep ball stuff, man. He was running real routes, the end around stuff, just a beast. And I know he's a good player, but I also know they love Parker Washington. I know Jacoby Myers got paid. I know that Brenton Strange is pretty solid. I think Travis Hunter is going to factor in some weeks. And if they're going to play him at static X, it's not a good situation. Trevor Lawrence cannot throw the ball downfield accurately.
That's bad.
So, like, I feel like Marvin is the safer pick because I just know he's going to be on the field a lot. And I also know he's going to get a pretty solid target share where, like, Brian Thomas is a better player at this stage of his career. But, like, it's a risky pick. There's going to be a lot of weeks where it's like, oh, Brian Thomas got 4 targets and he went 2 for 27. Gross.
I know.
And, like, I don't think Marv is going to have that bad floor, right? Like, the upside with Brian Thomas is better because Trevor Lawrence is good. We know Trevor Lawrence is a franchise quarterback. Brissett kind of blows, and I hate Carson Beck. But you obviously like Marvin Harrison above Brian Thomas, right?
Yes, and I like Brian Thomas because he had one of the better rookie wide receiver seasons we've ever seen. And I think the only way we're going to get out of this is if they trade Brian Thomas. If they can move him on to a different team. I mean, I don't know where he's got to go. Maybe, I don't know what it would take even, but can we get Brian Thomas somewhere else where he has the ability to earn more targets and be on the field and not just be the sacrificial X. I think something happened last year. Maybe he didn't vibe with Liam Cohen. Maybe he had that wrist injury that was early in the season.
He was hurt multiple shoulder injury.
Maybe
wrist.
he got kind of like gun shy from taking hits or catching balls because he had pain or something. It's hard to know because like there's like the real life human aspect of playing football that we're never going to understand from a fantasy lens and perspective, right? So with him, I can't figure it out. Maybe it's psychological, maybe it's something else out there, but we know how good Brian Thomas can be. I don't have a high confidence this is the environment that we're going to get him back to his glory. It's like we witnessed something, but it's like it's a different time, a different place. And like you said, all the other pieces there. Do the Jaguars need Brian Thomas to succeed? It's like, I don't know that they do.
And it holds back Travis Hunter a bit as well. And the last thing I just thought of this, it popped in my head. It makes a lot of sense. The X receiver role is not valuable in Liam Cohen, and especially in his offense, and especially with Trevor Lawrence, who just does not excel in those areas of the field. But let's go back 2024 before the Chris Godwin injury, which is a Liam Cohen offense. Chris Godwin was like wide receiver fucking 4 before that stupid injury when Todd Bowles kept him on the field in that meaningless fourth quarter. And Mike Evans, all-timer Mike Evans.
Was that the Chris Godwin ankle?
Yeah, when it was like they were down by fucking 17 points with 4 minutes left. That was the same game Mike Evans like fucked his shoulder up or something in the end zone in the second quarter. But going into that game, Chris Godwin is like wide receiver 4 in PPR in the slot role. Mike Evans, obviously the X. He was like it was still like wide receiver 15 or 16, but this is Mike Evans we're talking about.
Yeah.
So that just shows you how important that slot role is with Liam Cohen. When as much as we like Chris Godwin, like in what world should Chris Godwin be wide receiver 4, 6 or 7 games in the season, and Mike Evans be wide receiver 15? That just shows it's an uphill battle for Brian Thomas. Like if they're going to play him at X, it's going to be spike weeks. We'd like it for best ball, but look at his schedule. Tom, one of my co-hosts brought up his schedule. His like easiest matchup through 6 weeks, if he's going to be playing X and if there's shadows going on, is Sauce Gardner. He gets Stingley, he gets Christian Gonzalez. It's insane, dude. So like the way to play it, he says, is just in redraft. We can't do this in best ball. In redraft, you just trade for him week 6. Because he'll be like wide receiver 36. It'll be a bumpy ride, and the guy's gonna be like, fuck this guy. And you swoop in and just grab him like the drunk girl at the bar. Just boom, there you go. That's kind of
what I want. That's what I want to do with Luther Burden when this groin thing gives him a slow start, and then people in our home leagues or redraft are wanting to ditch him. I'll swoop in and grab some Luther Burden. But anyways, yes, if you can scoop guys like that, like you said, Brian Thomas, that's a fun way to plan ahead.
Well, we got through like 12 players, but it means it's a good conversation, and we could sit here all night. We got to do this again, man. You know, Ball, bright fucking dude. I'm gonna call you a kid because I am 4 years old. He's a bright kid. Chris is a bright kid and a great person. Can't wait to fucking battle against you in the Thrones League, man. I got my eye on you. I know you know your shit. Again, I know you know best ball, and I think you know redraft. But just talking a little shit here because I don't do that a lot. But I'm excited to play against you, man, and super super happy to have you on the show. Thanks for having me on your show as well. And just great conversations. We see the eye to eye a lot, except for essentially Roma Dunze a little bit, and then Adonai Mitchell. Yeah, we're gonna fight over Adonai Mitchell. I can't wait to be messaging you when he goes fucking 3 for 74 and a touchdown week 1, 80% snaps.
I don't know what's wrong with me for not liking wide receivers who can't catch the ball, but I think they just get paid to do it, and if you can't do it, you're out. But
no, it's this. I don't know if you're a Seinfeld fan, but when George gets the hairpiece, I was bald. He couldn't catch. I think that could be worked on a little bit. It's a tough one to learn, but I think he can improve a little bit. Confidence goes a long way, man.
I got one for you. So we did a side project where I started getting obsessed with catch rate about 2 months ago. And I looked at NFL data for the last 20 years, and we put it into 4 buckets. Bottom quartile catch rate, top quartile catch rate. The middle 2 quartiles, so like you're about middle of the road of catch rate, right, among the receivers in that year. There's not a whole lot of signal there. They don't really move up and down a whole. They could, if you're in the middle of the road, if you catch the ball decently, you could get a little better. You could get a little worse. It's hard to predict year to year. The bottom quartile and the top quartile were the most predictive, where if you're in the bottom quartile of catch rate, you will never get better. It's like statistically, this is a large sample size, 20 years NFL data. You will never be in the first bucket if you're a bottom bucket catch rate receiver. And if you're a top catch rate receiver, you'll never go down to the bottom. So the sticky thing I saw year to year in correlation, the signal was if you're really bad at catching, you'll never get better. If you're really good at catching, you're going to stay good at catching. The middle's harder to figure out. But so I ran away with that about 2 months ago. And now when I look at any of these players, my first thing I want to know is like, what kind of role are they used in? What's the ADOT? How, like, are they exposed to easy catch it, easy targets like a Luther Burden? Or are they fighting for their life every time they're getting the ball thrown at them like a Roma Dunze? And then so I start to look at that. So, it's when you look at one player, of course, there could be an anomaly. Someone could do something we're not expecting. They could break out. But overall, in the total data set that I'm seeing, that's one thing that I want to continue to dive into that I don't think people talk about a whole lot. We talk about target share, but we don't talk about catch rate.
Yeah, and it's not as fun as like this 40 time or something. Example of a guy that is on the upper end is a Jarvis Landry, right? That dude has been catching a ball since he was 5 years old. It's kind of the guys that can. It's like guys that can't hit a curveball in baseball. Like if you can't do it, you're probably just not going to be able to. And you can hit some home runs on fastballs, but eventually, pitcher's like, why would I fucking throw this guy a fastball? I'm just going to fucking throw it low and away, and he's going to strike out 220 times a year. All right, Candyman, epic stuff, man. This guy knows ball. Please check out the Fantasy Football Garage. Also, go check out the draft we did and the conversation we had there. You're the man. Appreciate you, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It was a pleasure. We'll definitely be doing some more drafts, hopefully, but I know we're getting towards the end. But we'll definitely be collabing more, and excited to compete with you head-to-head in the Iron Throne. So when we have that first matchup, maybe it'll be week 1. We'll find out. We'll have some fun that week, and we'll definitely get back at it.
I'm gonna make sure I just scoop up Adonai Mitchell and start him against you just for shits and giggles.
I hope you do. I hope you do.
Yeah, you do. All right, buddy. I'm gonna stick on and answer all the questions for you guys. But appreciate you, dude. We'll talk soon. Have a good night.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It was good to see y'all in the chat, and I got to run, but enjoy. Catch y'all later.
Yes, sir. All right, gentlemen. I'm going to play a clip real quick. I got to go to the bathroom, so I'm going to play a clip. Give me a second. I'm going to get to all the comments. Keep popping them in there. I'm going to grab a drink and go to the bathroom because I've been holding it in for 2.5 hours. So give me 50 seconds.
Jay Quellen. No Jay Quellen here?
Do you mean Jacqueline?
Okay, so that's how it's gonna be.
Balake.
Where is Balake at?
Yes, sir.
My name's Blake.
Are you out of your goddamn mind? Do you want to go to war, Balake?
No.
D nice. Is there a D nice?
Do you mean Denise?
Son of a bitch. A Ron. Where are you? Where is A Ron right now?
Here.
You know, I said it like 4 times, so why didn't you say it the first time I said A Ron?
Because it's pronounced Aaron?
Son of a bitch!
Oh, that was a long one, boys. All right, let's get to the chat here. Let's get to the old chat. What's up, Junk Buster? I don't know if you're still in here. This is from 11:34. I'm a little bit behind here. Jefferson has never been their touchdown guy. It's always the other guys in the offense, and Hawk is a great red zone guy when healthy. Hasn't been as good as it should have been in his career. It's usually 4 or 5, but the price point for Hawkinson doesn't even matter if he's catching touchdowns, and this is more of a best ball take. I mean, he should be a second tight end in redraft. That's where he's going anyway. But it's so cheap. It's so cheap. Ryan, what's up, Ryan? The question is Hawk equal to is Kraft equal to Hawkinson? No, Tucker Kraft's an actual elite level tight ends and blocker after the catch stuff. But the price point is just crazy. Sorry I missed your comment, Cruz. Dawson type real. I don't love the player. He's never done shit in the NFL. It's the surrounding ecosystem or lack thereof in terms of the wide receiver room. That is the Greg Dulcich experience, right? It's like he should get targets, but again, targets are earned. I think Malik Willis is gonna look for him. He is essentially early season potentially be their number 1 outside of A-Chain, which is I don't know what that even means. He's gonna be on the field. He's gonna be running wind sprints. Maybe he catches some touchdowns. The price point's super nice. Cruz likes likely, but does Theo Johnson eat up some of his burn? Him and Dart had some chemistry last year. Dude, Jackson Dart loves Theo Johnson. I love Theo Johnson. Mike Storey loves Theo Johnson the most. He actually ranked Theo Johnson like right after Hawkinson. So he's a big fan of Theo Johnson. We're both kind of lower on Isaiah Likely. That Naylor heat was great. It was because we were talking about tight ends. We didn't bring up Jalen Naylor at all. And it was great. Like it went from whoever we were talking about. I think it was AJ Barner or maybe it was Hawkinson. It went from that to the Chickaconquo hate to Jalen Naylor. It was an all-time. I should have played the grinds my gears thing, but that's kind of a story inside joke. But it was good stuff, dude. Candyman, what a guy. Guys, please go over and give him a sub. And definitely check his shit out because very analytical, but very like even keel and like open-minded to things. I did appreciate just the collab and just the vibes, man. It was I've never talked to him a second before tonight. So that's kind of one of the things I pride myself on, is just being able to talk to whoever about not just football, but super easy with that guy for sure. Josh Palmer did get you, Kappa, last year, and he had one good week. You know, I was kind of a Keon Coleman guy last year. You were a Palmer guy. We both missed that one. Cubs walk-off for Cubs fan 311. Hey-oh. Smitty is going for a three-peat in one league and back-to-back champs in another league. That's a nice start there. Let's see, Drew. I saw an AD Mitchell analysis that he gets open a lot, but it's because he's not running in the actual route in the playbook. That could be correct as well. Again, I just think he has a lot of raw materials to work with, and this Jets team is going nowhere. I think he's a starting X receiver. I think Garrett Wilson, I'm not saying he's going to start over Garrett. Him and Garrett Wilson are on the field a lot, and we'll see. If he plays bad, he can get benched. The price point at 180-ish and an Underdog seems pretty good. Yes, I'm going to start taking a hell of a lot of Omar Cooper now at his price point. That's how money is made. Let's see. I'll AD over Keon. I'll take them both. I like to take 8 receiver teams, so 100%. Drew Petzing, what a clown for Drew Petzing. You know, a tight end whisperer for sure. Drew was 7% Marby, all convincing me. Plus the receivers after, like P. Wash, Christian Watson, are all mid as hell. Well, Christian Watson goes ahead. I love Christian Watson. I'm not a Parker Washington fan. You know what? I'm, as you guys know, one of the highest Marvin guys this year. I've not been drafting Marvin the first couple years of his career. Too rich for me. But he even convinced me, and I have a higher Underdog. I'm at 25%, 26% Marvin, which is crazy. And that's down from like 29%. He was at 15%. He actually convinced me on Marvin Harrison, which is awesome, because I love him in best ball because the price point and what's the risk really, because he's still going to have some touchdowns. But I think he convinced me I need to just be drafting him in fan tracks, my public redraft leagues. I'm going to be streaming 34 of those coming up on Wednesday. I'm in 40 leagues this year. 34 are going to be streamed on this very program. And he goes like 71st overall, dude. So he could be my 4th receiver. He could be my flex. And I just want to pair him up with someone safer, maybe a Chris Godwin, maybe Josh Downs before the Keenan Allen signing, but something like that. Maybe I go Alec Pierce, right? And then I just, once he's back and healthy week 3 or week 4, I have that option. Ladd is about, I was higher on Ladd. I'm higher on Ladd than he is. I don't love the player that Ladd McConkey is. I like this Chargers offense. And the fact they didn't sign Keenan Allen's nice. Hetcher is horny for Marvin Harrison. I am as well. I'm going to go watch some tape after this for sure. Luther and Loveland until Williams gets hurt. 2 main targets in the Jags, 100%. Guys, after I get up to the comments here, we're going to hang out for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to do the draft order. Whoever's in here in the community, I know a lot of you guys are in a best ball league. It's slow draft starting on Saturday night. I'm going to do the draft order. I have a wheel set up here on my other computer. I'll stream it to the screen, and then we can figure out the draft order. So let me know. Fantasy Dog, you're in here. Whoever else, let me know, and you got to write down the picks for me. Either way, I can always go back and watch the stream. We're going to draw it from 12 to 1. So I'll spin the wheel. First one's 12, then 1. That's the last of the community leagues we have to do the order for. Should ETN go higher on the draft board? Yeah, I mean, Chris Olave needs to be moved up because of the Tyson thing, but also ETN. So, I was off him in the 3rd round, in the middle of the 3rd round where he was going earlier in the offseason, and I'm really on him at pick 44. I think pick 30, end of the 3rd round, I'm really comfortable with him. I feel like it's just a nice floor play. He's got juice. I want to buy in this offense. And just the target share should go up a little bit with Tyson being out. Man, I'm a big Tanner Kozio fan. 6'7", bro. Dude is a kind of a twig in terms of blocking, but he's a receiving tight end. I like him. Wicks and AD Mitchell about to teach Candyman a valuable lesson. Wicks is the same. Yeah, Wicks is kind of similar. Wicks is a route merchant, dude. The dude's always open, but his hands, I will say, I think Wicks' hands are a little better than AD Mitchell's. I think Wicks is going into his 4th year, at least his 3rd year. I think it's his 4th year. AD Mitchell is going into his 3rd year. Mitchell has more juice than Wicks in terms of, like, you know, burning a guy deep and some of his hip fluidity. But Dontavian Wicks is a hell of a player, and I'm in on both these guys as just they're versatile too. I love the fact that AD Mitchell can line up all over the field. Now he's going to run the wrong route. I think that he might figure it out, and it's worth the price. I'm glad that Hartman agrees with me on AD Mitchell. Doesn't mean that we shouldn't be taking shots on all these Jets receivers. because Omar Cooper is a rookie first-round pick. That is usually a good bet to make. Not at pick 138, it wasn't. At pick 160 now, fuck yeah, sign me up, bro. I still wanted Omar Cooper over Mitchell. That's not the point, though. The point is one was going 135 and one was going 175. I feel like AD Mitchell's having better early season stuff. If he plays well, he's going to keep the job. They also play different positions. One is Omar Cooper's pretty much a slot. That's really the only place he lined up in Indiana. Definitely was a Luther truther. What's up, Colby Cash? How you doing, man? Thank you, Ruben. Ruben's the man. Great stuff you're throwing together for us, man. We appreciate you. David, if I have Bijan in non-PPR, is grabbing Kyron or Javonte Williams in the second good? Yeah, dude, those two. I actually prefer Javonte Williams, and I know that's probably a hot take. People might not like that. Javonte's Vegas totals, it's 1,000 rushing yards over under, and it's 9.5 touchdowns, maybe 10.5 touchdowns. You could sell me on Kyron. Both those guys are great for standard, right? And Javonte is the definition of a guy that needs to be risen up the board in standard. I am not, man. The hype of these guys, and I guess it makes sense because they're going from 18th round picks or undrafted. Oh, I guess I'm buying Chris Bell. So Chris Bell is who I'm buying and who I've been drafting even before. I've been sprinkling him in on Willis teams. Even before the news that he actually might be active for preseason games. That doesn't mean he'd play week 1, but we were originally sold like week 10 for Chris Bell. And it makes sense for them to slow play Chris Bell. They're going for the number 1 pick over this year. Like, what does it matter? They want to see him on the field. I always go back to Jamison Williams' rookie year. Remember, he was coming off the ACL. We saw him have like 1 touchdown. It was on like a long end around. But other than that, they really were babying JMO. And I think if you can get Chris Bell on the field by week 5, the ramp up period by week 10, he should be almost a full go, whatever that means. So yeah, I'm buying Chris Bell. Thank you, Fancy Dog. I thought so, man, dude. Chris was really easy to work with and just super bright, man. Great conversations. I think Javonte is going to eat. I've only done 1 actual redraft this year. I did 1 with a fan on stream. I'm not counting that as my team, but my first home league, I did Nick O's league with Storey in that one as well. And I took Javonte in the 3rd round in a half PPR. Felt pretty good about that. I like Tyjae Spears, man. It's a low upside play because, he hasn't stayed healthy. And if they give him more work, he will get hurt. So if there's an injury to Tony Pollard, like Nick Singleton, I guess it depends on the record, right? But I don't expect them to be great. Nick Singleton's a guy that can actually, that's why I like Nick Singleton, is he can be a backup for Pollard. He can be a backup for Tyjae Spears. He actually was a better pass catcher than rusher at Penn State. I believe he has something like 10 or 12 career receiving touchdowns. A couple of those from Tyler Warren, by the way. Nick Singleton's a beast, man, and definitely a pro-ready receiver, not a pro-ready pass blocker. That's the concern. And the only reason he fell in the draft was he missed the combine with a broken foot. I think he broke his foot in the Senior Bowl or some shit, something like that. So I like Nick Singleton, but that's a stash. Tyjae Spears in a deep league, specifically PPR, I feel like he could be a weekly, like, bye-week flex, I guess. I've always loved the player. Tyjae Spears is really elusive, man, but very small. He's got that little helmet thing he wears, the little lollipop helmet. All right, let me get this draft stuff open. So who's in here from the Best Ball League? I know Fantasy Dog is in here. Anyone else in here for this draft order? Either way, it goes in the stream here either way. So I got to get this figured out so then you guys have an option to trade your slots if you want to. And let me get this up and working here. Connor's in here. Let's go. Yeah, I think you're in it, Jonathan. Let me check this out real quick. Mute that mic. Sorry, I got to share my screen. Wheel of names. Freak, my balls are for best balls. Montana's in here. So there, Joe Montana's up top here. Let me switch this over. There we go. All right. So who wants to write this down for me? Fancy Dog, it's $50. This is a $50 sleeper best ball we're doing, a slow draft. You're in this, baby. So I have the league safe set up. I don't know if I set the league safe up for that. We'll get that all squared away. I still want George Pickens, Hetzer, over Garrett Wilson, but it's, I'm pretty low on George Pickens. I'm pretty high on Garrett Wilson. I'm still taking George Pickens tied to that offense for sure. Who wants to? Jonathan, Montana. Jonathan, you want to write this down for me so you can just text me? I'm going to have it on here. We're doing reverse order. The first name I click and all the way down the board, I'm starting at 12. So the first name's the 12th pick, then 11th pick, then 10th pick. The last name on the board is going to be the first pick. So let me know when you're ready, and I'm going to start spinning the wheel here. Yeah, well, Jonathan, I'm pretty sure you're in here, right? No, I don't have you in here, Jonathan. I don't think you're in here. Let me check. I think this is accurate, man. Do I have you in the chat? Oh, I do have you in the chat. I'm confused. I have so many leagues I'm commissioning, so much shit going on, guys. So do I have McAuliffe written down twice? What's going on here? Oh, yeah, you're Evil Knievel. Yeah, you're in the chat. So you want to do it, Jonathan, or no? I don't know why. I figured you were in. I know you don't do best ball, but it's you can figure it out. You've watched enough streams, Jonathan. Yeah, you're Evil Knievel. That's the name I put for you because you're a fucking race car driver, man. I know he wasn't a race car driver, but you're a fucking badass. All right, you're gonna do it. Can you write it down though, Jonathan? Get a pen and a pad. Whoever wants to do it. And then make sure you send it to me after. I can always go back and watch back. I'm not going to remember this. So here we go. We're going to start this up. Again, first name I draw, first name that I click is the 12th pick, then 11, then all the way down. Give me a second, Michael. I will get to your comments. Here we go with the 12th pick in the best ball draft. It's going to be Connor with the turn. Connor. Number 11 in the best ball draft. What's up, Shamrock? McAuliffe with number 11. Number 10. Mouth. Number 9. I'm getting really close here. Joe Montana. What's up, Montana? Number 8. This is for our best ball order, our 12-man best ball community league. Number 8. Silence. Number 7. Dakota. Dakota with 7. Number 6. Evil Knievel. Jonathan with the 6th pick. Number 5. Blake. Date with Helen Hunt. How's that? Number 5 is Blake. Number 4. Getting in the top 4 here. Fantasy Dog. Number 3. Derek, who's 52. 52-year-old Derek with number 3. Ooh, number 2. And number 2. Oh, everyone thinks it's rigged. I don't really want number 1, man. That's fine. Dr. Ray with number 2. And then this is just a fat guy named Rob at number 1. I don't know how I like that in best ball. PPR, I guess it's okay. Let's hear from Dr. Ray real quick. Is Dr. Ray in the building? I think he is.
He had a meniscus issue, which what totally tanked Derrick Rose's career.
Montana says date with Helen Hunt. That should be the fucking prize. That's worth a lot more than like $600 though. Whatever we're gonna have for first place. But if she's looking like this, it's probably fair, right? The weather lady, Helen Hunt's. I would say not bad looking. She's not bad looking. All right, let me get this out of here. So many screens. All right, I'm back. I did have a question I missed. Sorry about that, Michael. Send me that list if you could, Jonathan. So I guess, or you could just post it to the chat. That'd be great. Who are you picking as the 5th pick and 9th pick full PPR? I mean, whoever falls at 9, but 5th pick is tough, dude. You either have to make a stance on CMC. There's a chance Puka falls back to 5 and someone takes JSN for stability, but it's probably between CMC, JSN, and St. Brown. I would say those 3 are your realistic options I would go with. And then 9th pick is Jonathan Taylor. It is CeeDee Lamb. Some people like Genty there. That's probably the range. Those 3 players, if you want to go James Cook, those are the options. Now, if you want to start with a balanced build, you're not going to get a receiver at 9 for the second round. You're not going to get, unless you want to take London or A.J. Brown, you're going to get a good running back. You're going to get A-Chain. You're going to get, if you like Hampton, you're going to get Henry. You're going to get Chase Brown. You could get Kenneth Walker, Saquon. Like, some of those running backs are falling back to the second round. That's why it's like, if you want to take CeeDee Lamb, you're going to guarantee yourself a good running back. But you could go running back as well. How you doing, Shamrock? Well, it was people paid. These guys paid McCall, but yes, they weren't really fantasy. They were novices. That was novices shit. Yeah, it's full PPR. It's full PPR, Fantasy Dog. Jonathan, what pick did you have, Jonathan? Is that 7? She looked reptilian. CD, yeah, PPR. I do like CD. I like CD at 10. But that's fair. Yeah, it's a slow draft. It starts at 9 p.m. The clock does stop at midnight. So from at midnight central to 6 in the morning or 7 in the morning, it's 8 hours where the clock stops. You can still make your selections, but when you get on the board, it stops at 4 hours. So yeah, we have all the slow drafts in the community leagues are starting on the 22nd, which is this Saturday at 9 p.m. Central. And then that still gives us, what does that give us? Like 17 days. We should finish for sure. 7th is not great. I mean, St. Brown's solid. Michael, what is the form? Like, how deep is the league? So the more flex spots you add, the less likely I want to take Brock Bowers because tight end becomes less important. If it's just a 2 running back, 3 receivers, no flex league and a 12-man, fuck yeah, give me Brock Bowers, dude. But as you add flex spots, we need to push down the onesie positions, right? Oh, 10-man. Okay. Now in 10-man, I want to push up the onesies. Now double flex kind of evens that out. But in a 10-man, shit, man, I wouldn't take Bowers that early, though. There's a chance Bowers falls back to you at probably not, but who knows? Maybe in the 3rd round. At the 5th pick, you could consider taking him at 15, 16, whatever pick that is. All right, get a few more questions in. I do have a couple announcements to make. Tomorrow is the first of my 40 drafts. I'm going to be starting 34 of my redrafts, including next Tuesday is the Iron Throne League with Joe Pisapia, with Candyman, with all the content creators. That'll be a good time. I'm going to stream that one. Michael, how much is the buy-in, brother? How much is your buy-in? Jonathan, you've watched so many of these streams. You know what you're doing. And you also know ball, so it's not a great first experience. It's only $50. It's not a $3 underdog draft, though. $50? Okay. I was going to say, I do offer, what time is it? Either way, I don't know if you're interested, but If it's overlap on mine, I can't help. But again, tomorrow night is the cutoff to become an OG in the community. I have a new graphic here. Thank you to Blake for setting this up. And all these yellow names are OGs. Anyone that gets in, tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary of the first stream. The show's been going 5 years. 1-year anniversary tomorrow is my very first stream. I did a couple best balls in like June, but like I got the computer and that's when I really started streaming all my drafts. Anyone in Green L here is an OG. Tomorrow night at midnight's the cutoff to become an OG, which is a nice honor, but also it locks you into whatever tier and whatever price point you're in. Your shit never goes up. Whenever inflation happens, whenever the show takes off, you're locked in. If you just want to get in the Discord and be a $5 semi-pro member, it's always $5. And if you want to upgrade, even the next tier, if it's 10 right now for all the bets and pretty much everything, if that goes up to 20, you still get the original price points because you're an OG. So that's a nice option. So if you're debating joining, this is the time to do that. Fantasy Dog's on this list. This is the time to do it because if you don't, then you're not going to be an OG, and I have to cut it off somewhere because I got to pay homage to the dudes that have been supporting me this whole time. Also, 50% off for the first month. This is going up until the season. But if you're going to get in now because we have about a month to the season starts, less than a month to the season starts. So your first month's 50% off. Just to get in the Discord, $5. That means you're paying $2.50 to get in, to try it out. So links in the description for the Patreon. You get in the Patreon, I get your email, and I send you an email to the Discord. Join all these fine people you see in here every single night supporting me, watching. We love it, Jonathan. It is the place to be. It's the place to be.
What do you call it, Kramer? It was. Come on, Rudy. Come on. We call it the place. The place to be. Yes.
So yeah, check it out. Ask any questions to me or anyone in the chat if you have hesitation, if you're wondering if it's worth it. I think they're all going to say it is because they're all still in there and they love supporting me. Hopefully no more injuries, Colby. 100%, man. This is insane. McCall, Sleeper does not offer a total point, so it is head-to-head, and there's playoffs and shit. So this actually makes it pretty interesting. It's still best ball format. Again, we're doing 24 rounds in this fucker. We're adding a flex spot. So I kind of like that for the head-to-head stuff. You should try the Golden Throne League. Comes with free bidet. Ooh. Hell yeah, Colby. Definitely try it, dude. We stream a lot of them here. There's a billion people that do it, though. You don't just have to watch this channel. I mean, the Fantasy Football Garage, Candyman is elite. And same with Nice and Blunt. Both those gentlemen have been on the show. And I'm not just endorsing them because they came on the show. I am endorsing them because they know ball. And no lineups. That they set it for you. So it's just like it's best ball format, except for total points. It is head-to-head matchup. So your lineup is set for you automatically. Thank you, Fantasy Dog. You know what? We didn't meet any goals, but that's a nice little $3 donation from my guy, Fantasy Dog. That's going to warrant a nice little beer chug. Let's. I haven't chugged one yet tonight. I've been busy. You know, we kind of had a time crunch with Candyman and doing his show and then doing my show. I wanted to get as much information out of him to you guys, since a lot of you guys don't really know him or don't watch him. And it was a great show. So here is a chug for Fantasy Dog and then all of my OGs out there in the community. Appreciate you guys.
Here you go.
That was slow, bro. Oh, that was slow. Oh, you don't have to worry about offending me, or like I know a lot of people will like, oh, I'm gonna ban you. Don't, dude. As long as you're not making personal attacks on my community members, you can make them on me. I don't give a fuck. I can handle it. I'm a pretty big boy. I take shit pretty light around here. Again, I end every show. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. The respect thing is more like don't be malicious. Don't throw slurs and shit like that. We want to keep it. This show's as wild as it comes. We say a lot of stuff. We play a lot of crazy clips. As long as it's not intended at someone in particular, unless it's, you know, certain people we can rip on. And like this one's one of them, this fucking dirtball. Yeah, for that one, for sure. You could say whatever you like and we'll make fun of a lot of different people because it's warranted, right? It's warranted. Play crazy clips like this.
Look at this. This is Laurence Olivier and Othello. And this is James Earl Jones. Now look at how close they look.
Look at that. James Earl Jones doing a great blackface.
James Earl Jones has a black face. He's a black man.
He's not black. James
Of course
Earl
he's
Jones.
black.
He was Darth Vader.
Darth Vader was black?
No,
See, okay, there we
Darth
go.
Vader was not black. They took the mask off. He was white.
Hetzer, the bubble bath guy, doesn't tell me to take a bubble bath. His whole thing is, I'm getting the bubble bath ready. It's about my mom. And I always tell him my mom is 66. And that's kind of not a flex. And like, congratulations for talking about, it's funny. Like, he's an idiot. He says he has the same exact line every time. So it's like, I'm a 311 fan. Come original, man. Come original or don't come at all. If you're going to troll, like, which is sad because it means you have no life. If you're going to troll at 2 a.m. on a fucking Tuesday, say something funny. Say something new, at least. We got Who Hames in here. What's up, man? We just had Candyman in the program, a little home and away. We're doing the same thing, guys, on Thursday with Who Hames, who is one of the sharpest best ball dudes and probably football guys. Again, I got to pick his brain on a lot of things. Got to see his exposures. But I've watched the show a decent amount recently when I've had time. Dude knows his shit. Also, it seems like an upstanding gentleman. So excited to have him on. That's Thursday night, guys. We got to figure out the time exactly, but I'm going to go on his show for an hour or whatever, hour and a half. He's going to come on this program. I'm going to do the same exercise with Who Hames. We'll draft in his show if he wants, or he can get my exposures, whatever he wants to do. And then I want to pick his brain and see his exposures because this man has like 12 or 14 grand in best ball this year. And he just says he's a degenerate. I say, if you're a degenerate and you're not good, you'll be poor. And he's clearly still doing this. So that means he's winning and doing good each year because he knows his shit. So can't wait to see those exposures. It's going to be awesome. Oh, bubble bath guy? Yeah, I think he might have got bored. Whatever, it's fine. Definitely changing the game. Another one of these Iron Throne members that I'm going to be competing against. And looking forward to competing against the best, And I do have to see how these best ball guys hold up. Who Hames, how many redrafts do you play? I'm just curious of that. Candyman says he plays 6. Which is child's play for me because I'm a psycho that plays upwards of 40 every year. Well, now it's turned into 40, but it's 25 minimum since 2011. So how many do you play? Again, it's a lot. It's a full-time fucking job to do not just the show, but just those fantasy matchups. Again, they're not all home leagues. Home leagues are a lot more work in terms of trades and shit like that. Also, real quick, guys, I forgot to mention this when Candyman was on. Go check out the X page. We are running a promo until Sunday. We need 100 followers. We're giving away $10. Every 100 followers after that, we're giving away another 10, up to $50. Like this pin post, put it on there, and comment Helen Hunt, and then you get in the drawing. We only have like 20 or 30 in there, so we need more. Also follow us because my buddy Kappa is the original OG of the show. He was the co-creator with me. He is managing all that. He's taking a lot of my takes, some of his takes, and mixing it all in a blender for some constant stuff. I do 3 a year redraft, another 9 dynasty. Wow, that is bizarro world. I'm a 1 dynasty guy, and then all redraft. What's interesting about dynasty though is it's actually less work during the season, which is nice because you get to manage in the off season. You have your 9 in footballs year round. So I do get that. That is definitely bizarre world though, having 9 dynasty teams and 3, but then you also have how many best balls? Whoa, we got Adam in here. We got some big names in here, guys. Some major celebrities. Adam, Who Hames. We had a couple others in the chat earlier. That's good stuff. Montana's in here. He's a celebrity to us. Tons. Yeah, best ball is the easiest for no commitment, right? No commitment. We love that. But Michael just joined the community. Is this what I'm hearing? Guess what? I told you guys tomorrow is the cutoff for OG status, dude. So you're an OG now. And hell yeah, my boy. And I got to do another chug for that one. We're winding down a little bit here. We did hour on Fantasy Football Garage and then 2 hours here, which is actually pretty short for me. But there we go. Michael's in here. Michael, I'm going to give you an email once I log off here. And then we're going to get you in the Discord and we'll talk about some stuff and I'll introduce you to everybody. And you know all the names in here. They're all in here. I am at about 450. I lost track because I was using my wife's account. We had a bunch of money left over from last year. And I had some issues with my account in terms of it's sometimes Underdog is weird like that. So I went in with my buddy for an account. So that's my Crumpernickel name. So I have no idea. I think we did like 100 on hers with the little boards and some of the early stuff. I think I'm up to 300 on the new one. So 450 or so. Usually I do about 450 or 500. I do a lot of DraftKings Millie Makers, not a lot of the Best Ball Manias on Underdog. Hell yeah, Who Hames. I can't wait for that, man. Heard a lot of good things. Again, I've been watching your show recently. It's hard for me to tune into all these other programs because we have some crossovers. You stream at some weird hours, too. I think you did some early morning stuff, which I do love. I'm usually up till 5 a.m. Central anyway, after the streams here, getting stuff ready for the next day so I can hang out with my wife when she gets off work. That's you're definitely a guy I'm keeping an eye on. And after the conversations with Chris today, very analytical, but he pairs that with some tangible real life, just flexible thinking, which is huge year to year. And I don't think he's totally best ball brained out. There are some guys out there that are totally best ball, and it's easy to get that mentality. And I've been guilty of it a little bit as well. This does mean I'm doing a best ball draft. You know what? I am a man of my word. So let's do a fucking draft. Good call. Is the puppy still going? Oh, hell yeah, dude. I'm excited about doing some collabs with all you guys. I have a different kind of setup here, like just because I have 5 full-time like co-hosts essentially. That's all like Storey is my main guy. You've seen him on here. Very, very sharp individual, very great guy. He's usually on 2 or 3 nights a week, and then all the other guys rotate 1 night a week during the season. So I have someone on every day. But there's always openings. People have vacations, and either way, I'm fine with having anyone on with one of my co-hosts. We do threesomes all the time. That's actually really hot stuff as long as you use protection. But that's a big part, is the protection part, because it's not the 80s anymore. We don't want to just be willy-nilly doing that kind of stuff.
What's happening here?
That French animal bit my ear off!
Well, that's an absurd exaggeration. My apologies, Bidwell.
He look in our tent. He look at my woman. He saw her breast.
Her breast? You saw her breast?
I've said it before and I said it again. Any man who look on her will die.
All right. Let's share this screen. Give me a minute or two to set this up so everyone gets in, and we'll get at it. Let's finish the puppy 3. I'm already like 30. Too many for this stupid freaking 750 final. But, oh my God, what are we at here? What is this? This is not accurate with the numbers I'm looking at here. Is this like one of the last puppy 3s, dude? That's fine. Let's go hog wild, you know? Let's check it out here. Lobby. Puppy 3 is, 98.7. Let's go. All right, give me a minute. I want to upload a couple of songs here so we can get some music going on the show. As you know, we do custom music on every single stream for these drafts. All jams from me and my buddies. I like to keep it original. I also don't like to get copyrighted. So that's a big thing. And let me just get rid of a couple things here. Give me a minute. Chat amongst yourself. Get some comments in. We will answer those. And we're going to get some funky shit going. We'll maybe get some relaxing shit going. I like that combination. I'm a big funk guy. I like metal. I like all music, obviously, but vibes, man. All vibes. Let's see here. Let's get a long one so I can put it on repeat here. There's one. There we go. All right. Who's ready to draft? Give me a thumbs up. Let's do 12:50 a.m. Central. So 3 minutes or so. Hell yeah, Jedi. Grab that brewski. I got to grab another drink as well. So 12:50 a.m. Central. So in 3.5 minutes or so, we will all join this puppy 3 and finish this fucker off. Let me get my page up here. There we go. All right. We got Anthony in here. What's going on, Montana? Hell yeah, I'll check it out, Fantasy Dog. Appreciate you as always, man. Thank you for that fantasy sticker. Love this guy. He is one of the nicest dudes. So kind to me. Fucking appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Let's get the tunes rolling here. and was not expecting to do a draft. But you know what? Someone joins the community. Fucking drafting, dude. You bet your ass. Let's get some funk going in here. Hey, we got Sam in here. What's going on? Yeah, 12:50 a.m. Central. I'm gonna grab a beverage real quick, and then we'll get this one rolling. I know Hetcher's ready for the regular season, though, because this man is taking a break from best ball. You ready for your redraft? How many redrafts are you doing, Hetz? All right, 12:48. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. You know I'm always sipping Jedi. Not always. I take some nights off here and there. I'm glad to be drinking brewskis again because I took that month off and I was sipping on bourbon and tea, and then I was still doing beer chugs. But I got to send you the invite, Michael. Are you talking about the draft or the community? Because I will send you an email with the community, the Discord invitation. If you're talking about Underdog, do you have Underdog, Michael? This is the Puppy 3. I thought you said, I think you might have mentioned that you were still waiting to do best ball. I know, but who aims do one with us? Come on, man. You could do one. If you don't have any exposure to the tournament, this could be the one, man. It's probably in our best interest for him not to do it because this dude's super fucking sharp. But you could do one. You could do one, brother. I've done fucking 29 of these things. This is my 30th one. 30th and last one. I hate the 750 final, but I do like the advancement possibility, right? All right, we're about 40 seconds away, guys. 12:50 a.m. Central, whatever time zone you're in. 12:50, 1:50, whatever. If you're West Coast, maybe you're at 11:50. Actually, it'd be 10:50. I'm drunk. I'm not going to enter yet. I'm just going to hit enter and get it ready for 12:50. So we're joining here in about 20 seconds. I'm watching. It's almost 12:50. I don't want to jump the gun here. There it is. All right. Should have everyone in this. So, yeah, Michael, I don't know what you're referring to, but like I said, for you joining the Patreon, I'm going to get you in the community. I'll send you an email and also a message on Patreon once the stream is over. You know what? I could just do it now, actually. I have some time. So check your email. Sometimes it goes to junk. It shouldn't go to junk, though. Let me do this now. M. Goldfield. I got you. Sweet. All right. Email sent, Michael. Let me know. Maybe make sure you get that. We got 7 here. We got Go Horns in here. Jedi at 3. Montana at 4. Anthony at 5. Connor at 6. We have Fantasy Dog. Is that our Fantasy Dog? I don't know if that's his name, but all right. Pretty packed room to end. Sam got in the underflow. Damn. You must have hit it a little early. I don't know. Maybe not, because we have a lot of people in here, so it must have been like you were the last one in the last one. That's Pat's Fantasy Dog Pound. Oh, cool. I don't know who that is. You know it, Iron Throne. I have been on live 84 straight days-ish. I have missed 15 nights since last August. I average around 4 hours a night. I got to do it. I got to get the exposure. I'm all in, baby. I quit my job for this. Well, some other stuff involved with that too, but I'm all in, man. I'm all in. And I'm ready to crush again this year in fantasy. We had a hell of a year last year in fantasy. 32 playoffs out of 36 redraft leagues. Only 11 ships. Best ball wasn't actually that kind to me last year. I did well on DraftKings. Way better on DraftKings than on Underdog. I prefer full PPR. I wasn't stacking enough last year, I realized, on Underdog. I advanced a lot of teams. I just didn't do shit in the finals. So, pretty easy selections here. Let's just take the fall on JSN. I'll just take that. I'll get a running back to fall back to me next round. Love that channel and community is growing, and it's not even the regular season yet. Love that the channel. Yeah, man, I think we've gotten maybe 13 Patreon in the last 30 days, roughly. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. That's the key, is getting just more people in, because once people get in, everyone stays, which is the biggest thing that I hang my hat on. And not just that, they all watch. Like, you guys watch so much. I'm literally putting out 28 hours live a week, 25 to 28 to 30. And like a lot of you guys are watching like 80%, which is just, that is what I watch. I used to watch Bill Simmons a lot. I watch a lot of Rogan, or at least I used to. And then, McAfee, people watch McAfee like that. Those are titans of the industry, right? Like, you see why people watch those shows so much. But I'm not putting myself in that discussion. I'm just saying, like, to have people watch me that much, and especially in the off season, like, we were just creating content in the best ball draft, but other stuff too, just creating segments and just having fun. That means a lot, man. You maxed the eliminator, brother? I did like 15 eliminators. It's a wild tournament, but it's interesting. Your week one's gonna be interesting for you, dude. Like, there is a chance it could be very disappointing, but all you need is one, man. So my eliminator strategy that I did on a lot of them, I punted the championship. I just went for a week 11 buys or after, which pays out a G. I think it's $1,000 if you make it to week 11 on a $10 entry. And that is kind of where I was at. Oh, shit. We just got some Chris Olave off the board here at the 204. All right. We're going to take probably the safest start you can really have. Derrick Henry and JSN. I do some drafters too, Hames. My wife loves drafters. And I do a lot of the $3 minis and then a couple of the main events. I like the sit and goes there, though. I do a lot of the $11 sit and goes. I crushed those last year. I think I won like 5 of 15 of them. So 1 out of every 3. Pretty nice return. I might Jedi. I mean, I'm usually always on after the primetime games, and then obviously Sunday. I'm not every night, but like after the football, where there's live games, we're usually on 3 or 4 hours already. So I really like to focus on the game myself to get you guys the most information and to get you the most, the most accurate reaction to this shit. Yeah, Drake London falling. That's not that much of a fall, but it's a Olave going off the board, man. Yeah, that could be scary. What do you think about the strategy I just told you about that I implore? By the way, is the music too loud, guys? I can turn it down. The strategy of punting the tournament and just going all week 11 buys and later. And like, you're not getting past week 11 when you do that, but I'm going to have a full lineup. If I get to week 5, when buys start, I'm going to have a full lineup, regardless of injuries, obviously, but all those weeks, which is a giant advantage. Giant advantage. Gross. I hate this spot right here. This is gross. Oof. We're going to take T. Higgins. I don't like this at all. It was that or Kyron Williams. This board got really sharp here with I thought Zay Flowers would fall back. I thought Love would fall back. I'm not comfortable with McBride until about 33. Oh, hell yeah, Michael. I'll chat with you later, man. I'll give you a nice little welcome. Yeah, I just want the return, right? It's just such a weird tournament anyway. It's like, if I could just make money on that tournament, it's so hard to win that fucker. It's hard to win any of these, but that's just such a weird, like, fluky Just you don't know who you're playing. But I actually made the joke was a lot of my community members were doing the same thing with week 11. And like, dude, there's a chance we might meet up in week 11 with me and Derek, whoever, and we have the biggest pillow fight ever with like both of us having 8 guys on bye. Like 90 points wins the matchup or 70 points wins the matchup. That would be great. That would be hilarious. Then I could win the tournament, right? If I have all those week 11 buys, if we get past that, that's probably a 1% chance though of having that matchup happen. Ah, there goes Garrett Wilson. Jesus. We're gonna actually take. I like Josh Jacobs. I'm gonna take ETN here. I should take Scatabo, but I want to move ETN up a little bit. It's not really even moving him up, but with the Tyson news, like obviously Olave needs to go up, but ETN, that's gonna help ETN. I am not worried about Kamara. Kamara is also hurt, by the way, potentially. I don't know how serious it is, but. Yeah, week 1 in the Eliminator is wild, dude. Agreed. That's why, like, Kamara, if let's just say he's not dusty, which he is pretty dusty, they need to use him sparingly because they want him healthy, right? And if you give him a 30% workload, and it doesn't seem like a big number, but it's probably best served that they give him 6 to 7 touches max. And you know, ETN's going to be off the field anyway for those snaps. And, like, Devin Neal's not going to take him. Kendra Miller is actually pretty good. Dude can't stay healthy, though. What's up, K-Space? There's a dinosaur. Avoided major damage. Thank you, Who Ames. TJ Hawkinson Hetzer, I'm guessing you're going to say. He's our dinosaur, though, God damn it. He's our dinosaur, man. We love him. Oh, this is a tough one. Let's go with a Bucky share here. Have a really strong running back room now. Probably punt running back for a while. If I get another good faller in the next couple of rounds, I'll just take a 4 running back team. Team 1 is cooking. Nico, I have so many fucking mosquitoes and bugs in here, dude. What the fuck is going on? Nico Pickens, Bird, and McLaurin. McLaurin has been falling for some reason. I don't know that. Big Bran, what's up, my guy? I gotta play this clip every time you come in because it's just great.
Check out the big brain on Brad. You're a smart motherfucker. That's right.
I like to do that.
I'll tell you what I do, man. 2 chicks at the same time, man.
Connor is punting wide receiver officially. Cook, Hampton, Love, Jacobs, and Warren. Hey, man, I mean, I'm kind of punting it as well, not as much as you. I do have JSN and T. Higgins, but we're going to be competing with some wide receivers right next to each other. No, dude, I have to get a new Tiny Dancer clip. I was, people have been clamoring for it. After the Super Bowl run, bro, I couldn't have the Tiny. He is still a Tiny Dancer. He's a big dancer now. I'm going to make a new one the first week with the Chiefs when he has a dancing clip where he's just dancing all over the place and missing the hole. I will. This is an easy pick, right? Fuck it. We're not going to go Joe Burrow. I'm taking Marvin. I'm going to just clip a run that he has and then pair it with the song, as you guys know, and that's going to be a great thing. I love that clip. I interrupted Ray so many times with that fucking clip. He never caught on the fact that everyone's like asking Kenneth Walker questions. Like, Ray, what do you think about Kenneth Walker? Boom, clip. And then I do it again. You are definitely punting. Holy shit. I knew there's no way Joe Burrow gets back to me, but we are fine with, I don't want the single stack with Joe Burrow. So we have, Sam Darnold option. We could take Vele with ETN, Juwan Johnson. We could take Chris Godwin and make this a Bucky Chris Godwin Baker team. I want to get more Baker in my life. Hell yeah. Thank you. But yes, I do like where ETN's going now, to answer the question. Like, I didn't like him in the early 30s, bro. And I like him in the mid to low 40s. Hell yeah. I can't wait to see how this Connor team turns out. Connor is known for doing some wacky shit, but you know what? At the end of the day, usually his teams look pretty damn good. So we'll see. It's interesting. You know, I could also potentially wherever Jordan Tyson falls. I don't really have the wide receiver equity to do this. If Tyson falls to like 120, I will pull the trigger in this tournament. Definitely pull the trigger. There goes Kraft. 79. This has to raise Juwan a little bit, man. A little bit on Juwan. I'm a Vele fan. I think Vele, he's boring. He's not exciting at all, but yeah, I'm kind of a Vele fan, man. And this sucks. There is nothing here, man. There is just nothing here. We can take, let me just see here. 103, 114. What is that looking like for me at nothing here, nothing here. This pick does not make a lot of sense, Tony Pollard. I'm just going to end the running back room now. Don't have a lot of Tony Pollard. Let's end the running back room now and just smash receivers. See what we have available later. I wanted Sam Laporta, but I didn't want to reach on Laporta. Pollard is still a little bit of a value there. Didn't make a lot of sense with his team because he's a better, most likely early season guy than late. But I still have some Bucky questions in terms of some usage stuff. So Bryce Lance definitely, in best ball especially, right? Like, I think he's going to be inconsistent. His archetype of player is a little bit boom or bust, which is what we want in best ball. Yeah, I want Tucker Kraft as long as the reports are good. They just had the report come out that he's not going to be playing a full snap share to start the year, like the first half of the year. That, for me, is fine because he's not going to be on the field blocking, which is actually fine because you don't get fantasy points for him blocking. Now, they can always audible out, you know, and those kind of things. This is an easy Jordan Addison pick. And that's fine because Tucker Kraft, the nice thing about Kraft was not for his health, because this has always been the George Kittle problem, right? He plays all these snaps. He's blocking so much. He's out there for more risk of injury. So they're not going to take him off in passing situations. It's going to hurt some of his little leak out 20-yard receptions because he's a monster when they have an RPO call or something and they just throw it. But it's not a big concern. I want Kraft over Laporta, but slightly. Like, I'm a big Laporta fan this year. Tucker Kraft is just a way better player than Sam Laporta. Never been a big fan of Sam Laporta player. He's been a product of a very good situation. And Jared Goff, which he's still in the same situation, though, so I'm not going to deny that. Pretty fair price on both these guys. I actually like Sam Laporta at ADP better than Tucker Kraft. But it's talk about in a vacuum, who do I want? It's Tucker Kraft. There's been a lot of buzz about Bryce Lance, dude. You and your Hibner love, man. Hey, you convinced me a little bit to, watch the film back again, and it's kind of looks like Mark Andrews, bro. Like a young Mark Andrews, which is saying a lot. We don't have a tight end yet. Okay. What do we do? Done at running back. What we need to pay attention to as well is the type of player they are, right? Vele is a big slot. Bryce Lance is probably an X receiver, although he's not a big guy, but I think he's more of a Christian Watson clone. So what do they do with Olave? I think Olave is best served in the slot. We want Olave playing the slot for fantasy because that's a great role with Kellen Moore. If Olave is going to be in the slot, I think Lance is more valuable. Not more valuable than Vele, but just it increases his value. If they're going to just stick with Olave majority X, that's going to help Vele out and help Juwan Johnson out. Who do I have here? We'll take Harold Fannin. This is kind of just a hodgepodge team right here. Yeah, the Kyler stack, if he falls back to me. Everyone here but the guy here. Does this guy have Justin Jefferson? Yes, he does. That is not good. He is definitely taking Kyler here. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. This is not going to be a very correlated team. We still have an option we could take Ted Hurst and we could take Baker and then Ted Hurst later. That's an option because we have Bucky. I don't hate that option. Shit, I'll take Brissett. Again, I don't know if he's playing in the fantasy playoffs. Who knows? Lots can change. This is definitely going to be Kyler Murray, and fuck me. Maybe not. Is there another quarterback he likes? Bo Nix is available. Matt Stafford's available. Jared Goff's available. And Kyler was already taken before that. Wow. So we might just take an unstacked quarterback here if one of these guys fall back. There goes Stafford. So we can also take Shuck. But I think... let's take Baker now. Set up the late stack. We can take Kate Otten. We have multiple stacks with Baker. We already have Bucky. Yeah, Godwin is just getting moved up because of the Ibuka concerns. You know, McMillan's finally back in practice, but he's missed essentially all of the offseason. And Ted Hurst is still kind of a raw prospect. See if Shuck falls back. I could also double this up and take Malik Willis unstacked. Take a late shot on Dulcich or some shit. Not looking like a great team. Unfortunately, there goes Shuck. So we also have Sammy Darnold. That's a very good option. We have JSN. That's probably the play, but I don't want to take him fucking 15 picks at ADP. No, thank you. Man, Chris Rodriguez is available. That would have been nice. I know there's news on Higgins getting hurt today. I don't think it was serious. Look at the squad. It's actually kind of a balanced team, but doesn't blow the doors off anything. Big Brand is very high on JCM, a.k.a. Bill. We just going to take Romeo Dubs here? I feel like pretty fair price. Let's take Dubs. Just take some ADP value. Not in love with the player this year, but that's a tough backfield, man. Katron Allen, if he takes goal line work, this whole situation's blown up, right? Rashad White's the safest option, but he is such an inefficient running back. But elite pass catcher and pretty good at pass protection. JCM struggles in both those departments. Pass pro and in terms of earning targets and converting those targets, not a great pass catching running back. Probably the most juice, though, in this backfield. So I get taking shots on all these dudes. Ooh. Okay. Some good options here. Mark Andrews. Ugh. Good pick for Shaheed. Yeah, ESPN's ADPs. You saw that with the draft with Junkbuster, dude. Our bench was literally Luther Burden, Christian Watson, and Brian Thomas in a 10-man. It was a 10-man league, but that was our bench. And we had our starting running backs were Chase Brown and fucking who's our two? Oh hell yeah, dude! Sam Darnold's here. Let's do that. Darnold. We could take Torrey Horton. We could take AJ Barner. So this team is actually coming together okay. Still definitely in play for a third quarterback. Henry, ETN, Bucky, and Pollard. I'm probably going to roll with those four. Be a little light there. JSN, T. Higgins, Marvin, Addison, and Dubs. I hate that receiver room. But Harold Fannin is fine. So we're going to take three tight ends for sure. Probably three quarterbacks as well and just end it at four running backs. A little risky there. That's why I took Tony Pollard, who, as long as he doesn't get hurt, he should hold on to the job. Chance he gets traded for sure, but not too worried there. Yeah, we can't take a fourth running back now. So we have one name we love. Yeah, AJ Barner would be nice. There's Omar Cooper down at 156. That's about a 13-pick fall. Yeah, it would mean obviously better offense, but it would mean another running back went down, right? And that would be that's good for everyone, right? Because it would be not for the running back that got hurt where he goes, but that'd be really good for. I love Nick Singleton. I think Tajay Spears and him would be a nice little pairing. Oh hell yeah, we just got McMillan here. and he's healthy. He played. He practiced today, so we'll take that. A stack with Baker. So it's Baker, McMillan, and Bucky. We have Sam Darnold and JSN. So one more stack would make this actually a pretty formidable build. Again, not lighting the world on fire with this squad, but I got some decent ADP value. Sometimes you got to take what's given to you. And yeah, Cooper going 190 today. That is wild. I mean, I'm eating that up, bro. I have like no Cooper, but glad I don't. Because now I can take him with these last 10 or 15 best balls I do, get some exposure at a very, very great cost. And Candyman has had a lot of Omar Cooper, and he's not worried about it. Adonai Mitchell's a start, the number 2 there. I think that's not even really a debate. Now, does he keep the job? Who fucking knows? Adonai Mitchell, wide receiver 70. That's just free money. He's the archetype of wide receiver we want, right? So, 161. Okay, we have to make up this. Oh, shit. You know what? This actually is in play. I'm going to take Trey Harris here. I'm debating Zach Charbonnet. I think that's too heavy at running back, but I can't do it. If he falls, I'll take him. I got to take Trey Harris here. Love Trey Harris. I was never worried about Keenan Allen signing, but a lot of Omar Cooper, who aims? I thought you were an Adonai Mitchell bro, though. It was never going to be a smooth ride early in the season, man. I mean, he's a pro-ready prospect. That's what we were told. I'm a little higher on the Jets offense than most. Oh, zero Mitchell. No. Yeah, Trey Tucker is a best ball bro for sure. Again, I think I said this, and I know Candyman disagreed. If I have a deep PPR league, I want Jalen Naylor. I think his floor is going to be much higher. And in a PPR redraft, I want some higher floor players. Best ball, I want nothing to do with Jalen Naylor. He's like 1% for me. Now, I've taken some shares like 168. I think that's fair, but definitely not at where he's currently going. All right. This is definitely going to be... All right, we're going to make this work. I think I would be higher on Omar Cooper in redraft because I just let him marinate on my bench, you know, as like he's a nice bench option. If, you know, Garrett Wilson hasn't stayed healthy that much, maybe Adonai Mitchell gets phased out. Maybe Garrett Wilson gets hurt, like I said. Maybe Sadiq doesn't ever come back this year and he's not fully healthy. So we're just going to take AJ Barner. Is Pat Bryant there? He is. But there is just no way. There is no way Barner falls back. I'm going to take Barner. Well, that is how you make your money there, buddy, because it's still a fine price now for Stribling. But just hold on to those shares for dear life, man. Jonathan, you have every young player ever and every pick in Dynasty. So he's just locked and loaded, man. Locked and loaded. Is this too heavy? I'm trying to think. This quarterback room needs some help for sure. I could take a naked Geno. I definitely need some help at this room here. But what are the chances that Geno makes it back to me? So 2, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3. It's risky, bro. I got some good op. There goes Sadiq. Fuck me. Fuck me, man. Let's take... Huham's going to love this pick. After ADP, I'll definitely smash this one. Definitely smash this one. My wide receiver 8? Yeah. And then it's going to be quarterback, tight end. That's my room. That's my 8. So let's check out the squad and see what we're looking at here. The quarterback, I need another quarterback. Got to hope Geno falls back. We have Baker and Sam Darnold. We have Derrick Henry, ETN, Bucky, and Tony Pollard. With JSN, T. Higgins, Marv, Addison, Dubs, McMillan, Trey Harris, and Pat Bryant. I like this stretch here. I don't really love the Dubs pick, but the ADP was fair. And then we have Fannin and AJ Barnes. We need a third tight end for sure. I was going to do that anyway, even without the ADP. The bye problem there. It's not a great team by any stretch. Part of being a good fantasy player and a good basketball player is being able to identify your bad teams. Not every team's going to be great, and if you just think every team's great, then you're not going to learn from them. Someone took Geno. All good. All good. So, don't love this. Sweet. We're going to get we should be able to get a fall. We need one of these tight ends to fall. I could take David Njoku as well. That's not the worst thing in the world. Coon meat. Xavier Legette does, bro. Pretty sure. I think Ibuka's going to play. Unfortunately, this could be a repeat of last year, man. If he plays, turf toe is no joke, man. It's no fucking joke. Here goes Keon Coleman to Spurs. So let's take Dulcich. It's a toss up between him and Freiermuth for me. But let's get another Dulcich share. Make this tight end room pretty strong. We'll just take a third quarterback bummy here. Could argue Carson Beck. Wouldn't be a bad decision, but I do have Marvin Harrison. So that's on the radar if Tua's off the board. Book it. I like that. Look at the big brains on Brand. Nice and Blunt would love that because he hasn't been winning the MVP. He has him as a quarterback 4. I think I have Herbert quarterback 7, quarterback 6, pretty high on Herbert as well. Jonathan, is that your dynasty brain working because you have him, or is that what you've actually heard? Oh, yeah, these guys all have 3 quarterbacks ahead of me. Fuck yeah, we'll take 2 on this team. Some early season production with Baker and Darnold. Now, it sucks he has a week 11 bye. He probably won't even be starting at that point. But we just need to try to get some points early in the year. Give me Tua, and I'll be happy with that. That is very true. As Big Ray says, he's a doctor. He is a philosopher. He is our favorite. The best availability is availability. And what a quote from Big Ray. Shout out to Big Ray. You're going to see him on Saturday night. He's our Saturday night guy here. Our fun guy. Also knows quite a bit about ball and just lovable dude. We got Tua in the last round. It's not a bad team, man. It's not a great team. I think running back might be an issue. Baker, Darnold, and Tua. Quarterback ADP value was not there. Henry, ETN, Bucky, and Pollard. Light at running back for sure. JSN, T. Higgins, Marvin, Addison, Dubs, McMillan, Trey Harris, and Pat Bryant with pretty nice tight end room. This tight end room is pretty good. So it's just my running backs need to stay healthy, and my quarterbacks need to pair up their weeks properly, right? I need them to be consistent in terms of not having the same awesome blow-up weeks. Connor, well, we're going to check out all of the community members' teams after this for some team reviews. So give it one more pick here, and we're going to get to the teams. I saw your build already was wild. 10 receivers. It makes a lot of sense. We do love Ray, although I will say this. Mike Storey was voted. We had the vote in the poll for one of the streams. It was like 48 votes or something. Mike Storey was the favorite co-host. I didn't put myself on there. I'm guessing I would have gotten last. Because I'm the host. All right. We're going to go to Jedi Squad. Patty Mahomes, Jackson Dart, and Geno Smith. Pretty fair quarterback room. It might be even a little heavy, but I like it with some, Mahomes coming off the ACL, Jackson Dart's consistent concussion concerns. Solid there. Breece Hall might miss week 1. I think it's 50-50. They said a couple weeks with a groin injury. We'll see there. Swift, though, is going to should be a smash if Monungai misses time. Stevenson, Tyron Tracy, and Kamani Vidal. Tracy pairing up with Jackson Dart. A little bit of concern there with them bringing in Najee. Is that official? They brought in Najee, right? Forget talking, yeah, and eating squirrels. So the Tracy thing, I still think Tracy's a 2 there. Again, Najee's coming off an Achilles, not too worried there. But it's not a great sign, right? It's just like it's like the principle that matter. Jamar Chase, Drake London, DJ Moore, Quentin Johnston, Denzel Boston, Adonai Mitchell, my boy, Malik Washington, and Jerry Jeudy with Kelsey and Isaiah Likely. Pretty fair team here. This is Jedi. Pretty fair team, man. I like the Stevenson pick. Pretty balanced. The back end running backs can be a little concerning, but don't hate it. And then top 4 are pretty solid. So, yeah, not a bad team. Not really a lot of notes on this one. Montana squad. You didn't get the first pick, Montana. What's going on here? Jalen Hurts in the draft we did tonight, or the order we did tonight. You didn't get it either. Jalen Hurts and Jordan Love at quarterback. That should be enough. Montgomery, Judkins, Dowdle, Coleman, Lloyd, and Emmett Johnson. I think this might be heavy at running back. I know you don't have a true number 1, but I would probably not take Emmett Johnson. You don't have, Mahomes or anything. I understand it's risky with Lloyd. You have enough guys. Rico's a fine 3. I would probably not take Emmett Johnson. Let's see what the rest of the team looks like. Puka, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Matthew Golden, Stribling, Tesla, and Malachi Fields. I would have much rather had another receiver here, man. I know it would be a bummy dude, but give me another receiver here. Tucker Kraft, Dallas Goedert, T.J. Hawkinson. So you have a lot of flex appeal at tight end. I like this tight end room a lot. Give me another receiver instead of Emmett Johnson. That makes his team a little better, Montana. But it's still fine. I think 6 running backs for this team was probably a little heavy. We have Connor with this wild build. Wild build for Connor. Joe Burrow and Cam Ward. Cam Ward at 150. Pretty nice there. James Cook, Amarian Hampton, Jeremiah Love, and Josh Jacobs. Okay, this is better than my running back room. I only had 4. This is a nice running back room. Diggs, Pierce, Wandale, Debo, Keenan Allen, Wicks, Tank Dell, Rashad Bateman, Xavier Legette, and Darius Slayton. Tyler Warren and Kyle Pitts. So you actually do have some nice flex appeal with both tight end and running back. So in reality, 80% of the weeks, you'll probably only be starting 3 receivers, which again, this is half PPR. I don't hate that strategy. It's risky with the Pierce thing, but I mean, I don't know. I think Keenan is going to have a little bit of a boost with Pierce being out, even though they play different style wide receiver, different wide receiver positions. This 10 receivers makes sense. Like Hetcher says, Bateman, Legette, Slayton, Tank Dell, Wicks, dude, this is fine. It's a weird team, but like every other position super strong, and it's an A+ for build, right? Like whatever you want to say about starting off this way or that way, like you made it work. I don't know if it will work, but that's you hit the goal, right? You need 9 receivers. Might have been light on this team. Pretty solid, man. Pretty solid. Pretty weird from Connor. Love Connor, by the way. Connor, I always put you as my spirit animal. You're a lot younger than I am, but I always put you in when we do the draft order thing for the home or for the community leagues. I always have Connor spirit animal. So shout out to Connor. Appreciate you, man. We have, let's go to my team real quick. We already looked at it, but Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Tua, Henry, ETN, Bucky, and Tony Pollard, JSN, T. Higgins, Marv, Addison, Dubs, McMillan, Trey Harris, Pat Bryant with Fannin, Barner, and Dulcich. We have Barner and JSN paired up with Sam Darnold. We have Bucky and McMillan paired up with Baker. And we have, I don't think anything. I would have liked something paired up with Tua, but it's fine. It's my 3rd quarterback. I don't need to stack him. Not a great team. I think the other ones were probably a little better that I saw earlier. That's it. That's everybody. I got everybody. Okay. All right. Let's see. 2:39. Yeah, we've done almost 4 hours tonight. Tomorrow night. What fucking day is it today? Today's Tuesday. I'm spaced out. Tomorrow night's Wednesday. That is my first draft, my first redraft, my first Fantrax Public. First of 34 I'll be streaming. I might stream 35 if I stream one of my home leagues, but I'm also streaming the Iron Throne as well. But I'm going to do at least 34 redrafts on the stream. Tomorrow's the first one, 8 p.m. Central. Then we'll probably do a mailbag or do something, maybe some Underdog after that. Then there's nothing, no drafts until Saturday. Starting Saturday night, I have 2 or 3 drafts Saturday. Stream all those. Starting Saturday, I have at least 2 drafts every single day till the season starts. My last draft for redraft is 4 p.m. on Wednesday, the day of the season. So that's going to be awesome. It gets done and there's 2 hours for the game. Super fun there. So you're going to see a lot of content. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to chill out in the best ball a little bit. I'll still do some best ball nights later, like a draft or 2. I'm not going to chill out in the segments. We're still going to have a lot of segments here, either before the drafts, after the drafts. You'll still see Storey and Nico and Chaz and Ray, all your favorite guys. And Thursday, the Who Hames, our boy, you see him in the chats. Definitely go check out his channel. I did post it in the Discord for you guys. You'll see him on Thursday. You'll see me on his show. You'll see him on this very program. It'll be very similar to what you saw tonight with me in Fantasy Football Garage, Candyman. It'll be a great time. Who Hames is a great dude. Definitely a elite ball knower. Like I always tell it. These guys know ball. I know balls. I know balls and ball, though. You can know about balls and football at the same time. Any last comments, get them in. Appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate the supers. I appreciate the sign up from Michael. He's in the Discord now, so everyone go over there after the show and just say hello to him. Say hello to Michael in the community. Anyone else who's interested, again, tomorrow at midnight is the cutoff to be an OG. OGs get a lot of perks. Mostly they're grandfathered in forever. Their price never changes. You can upgrade and still have the old price in a year or 2. And just the honor of being an OG. This will be the first year. The first year of the streams is done. Tomorrow is the 1-year anniversary, so I'm going to cut that off for OG status. Here's all the OGs now. And if you're interested in joining, guess what? You get 50% off the first month. And this goes up until the season. So this is the time to join if you're ever going to. And I appreciate everyone just considering it. We offer a lot of good shit around here. This is just part of it. We like to have fans on the show. If you want to become a fanatic in the Patreon, guess what? Come on the show a couple times a month. Talk ball every Friday night during the season is fan night. Have at least 1, 2, or 3 fans on the show talking balls, talking ball, answering questions, giving away hats, shirts every single week of the NFL season. The community fantasy leagues are all full, but we're going to have more. We're going to have a fantasy playoff league. We're going to have next year. We'll probably up that to 6 leagues you can play with us. Maybe we'll start another dynasty league in the off season. And then the bets, guys, access to the bets. If you're a betting man, if you want to fucking make some money, follow these picks. And you can get these bets on Saturday night for the gambling show. I place these on Wednesdays. So I put in the Discord, I put the receipts. I put DraftKings. It's the actual screenshot of the bets with whatever app I'm using. 96 and 58, even odds. This is my shit as much as fantasy is because it's parallel to fantasy. I'm just picking player props over 61 yards. Not anytime touchdowns. I'll throw in some of those for parlays. Those don't count. We're just doing actually individual single bets, and we be crushing. So a lot of different reasons to get in. Also, a good way just to support the show. If you like what you're seeing, you see me on here every single night, 4 hours a night. So yeah, K-Space, we did have it public for the start of the show, but 80 people joined in 2 days, and there was bots, and there was people we want to keep it small. There's 65 people in there. I know every single one of these guys, and 40 of them are Patreon members, and the rest are co-hosts and some family and friends and stuff like that I play leagues with because I've known them forever. But other than that, though, if I keep it public, there'll be 300 people in there, and it's not going to be special. I want to be able to give you guys all time. And as you guys know, Hetzer, you message me any time of the day, a question, whatever, dude. Fucking be there, answer your question, give you guys my time. So definitely the place to be. Appreciate that. Like I said, K-Space, tomorrow is the last day to be an OG, and we do have that promo code PRO to get half off. Naylor take today with Candyman was probably my only disagreement agreement I had. He was really harsh, bro. Really harsh on Jalen Naylor. That came out of nowhere too. We were talking about a tight ends. We were talking about tight ends. Hawkinson and Barner or whatever, and then he pivoted to fucking to Chigakonkwo, and then he fucking went to receiver somehow and went off. It was funny though. It was, you know what? I agree with some of what he said. I still kind of like Naylor, but I'm low on Naylor, 2%, so I can't say I disagree too much because my actions speak differently. Appreciate you, Anthony, man. Great dude. Appreciate drafting with him. Pretty sharp drafter. Thank you, Hetzer. It is the fucking place to be. You're the man, Hetzer. Thanks for the super chat you gave me earlier, Hetzer. Appreciate that as always. You're the man.
Kid in me likes the frosted side, but the grown-up in me likes the kid in me.
Wow! It looks like Michael Jackson's coming right at me.
All right, again, tomorrow is early show tomorrow, 8 p.m. Central. That is my first Fantrax draft. It's only a $100 draft, I think. Get my feet wet. I believe I have the second pick in that one. I'll figure that out. I think it's the second pick. Full PPR, 3 receivers and a flex. Just watching all these drafts is going to be huge for all of you guys for the constant flowing ADPs with news, how it adjusts, how I'm going to draft my teams, who I'm targeting, how I'm building these teams. Definitely very important to watch. All right, that's it. Again, I want to thank Candyman, Chris the Candyman from Fantasy Football Garage. Please go over and check out his show. Everyone in the chat, Who-Hame's stopping by. You're going to see him on Thursday on this channel. And everyone else, thank you for the supers, the kind words as always, the great vibes that you guys always give us. And you guys make my day every time coming on here. I'm always excited to talk to you guys. Like I always tell people, my life's a vacation because I love my occupation. And the reason I love my occupation is because all of you guys appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow. I'll be talking to you guys in the Discord tonight. It's kind of early for me, 1:30, so I'll be up for a few hours hanging out, probably tug one out, do the things I want to do. So thank you, dudes. Appreciate it. Love your life. Stay positive and respect each other. I am out.